shack at. The bottles getting empty up the crack and we stacking chips. All of it's what I want. Plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone. I prefer elevated pub sports radio. Time to get educated, get produced. Leave the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call a truce. They getting slaughtered. Can't forget Jeff and LoBaggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon. We be pubbing.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, LoBaggers? Happy Wednesday, June 14th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. What a night last night. We made so much money on the Stanley Cup Finals. It is sad to see it go. Finished 9-2 plus 8.12 units. Wow. Sad to see it go. Finished the season plus 0.06 units. That's not good enough, but at least the goal of finishing the season in the black was accomplished, I guess, by the tiniest of slimmest of margins. But wow, what a night last night. Tone Miggins gave us Michael A. Taylor hit and home run. Hit at minus 125, home run at plus 900. Did both. 2 hits. One was a jack. Shout out to Tone Miggins. Ron Crawford cashed on the Twins minus 1.5 as the spreadsheet play today. And Jay's final take also play today, cashed on the Twins. It was a lot of money. A lot of money made. And we need it, man. We need it. Justin McElvey in the house. Stacks play today is Diamondbacks over 4.5, team total 105. Let's get that going here for Arizona's game. I looked very closely at that game. A lot of very interesting spots on the board. Let me make sure I got that copied and pasted before the Diamondbacks game. Phillies, Diamondbacks. Yesterday was a little frustrating in MLB. When I broke down Wheeler's stats on the road, well, I should have just bet him immediately, but I didn't want to, go up against so many people on Diamondbacks, which is fine. There was mistakes made, and I went 2-3 yesterday. But goddamn, did we make a lot of money in that series? God, NHL can be easy. TJ, 17-6 for the gift, back up to 11 games over 500. There's razor sharp picks, cash the gamblers first glance, first period over. It was a moneymaker. Sad to see it go. You were awesome with that. I did go plus 0.05 units on the first period, under 1.5. 1-1. So it wasn't horrific on the other side of that, but you were excellent on the right side. Let me copy and paste that. Razor sharp picks gamblers first glance. So glorious that he shares it with us each and every day. We're very, very fortunate. Jay Smooth, Mike M. By the way, I know you guys have watched Mike M on my Monday Night Live and Sunday Night, generally Sunday Night Live. We might have to do another Monday Night Live because Sunday's Father's Day, and I'm pretty excited about the day that we have planned. And Mike M on 7 shows. This is nuts. This is so nuts. This is so nuts it doesn't sound real. And it's real. On 7 shows on our live streams, on the ones that I host, 7 shows, he's plus 41 units. And that's real. Like, that's legit. The 1 unit bets. 1 unit bets. You see a lot of people who put up numbers where they're, I'm up 86 units or 146 units, but that's not 1 unit bets. 1 unit bets. That's what Mike M's doing on our live shows. I mean, that's otherworldly is what we call it. There's New Quirker says, good morning, fellas. Vegas was that easy. Was easier than easy. Must have been a hell of a party afterwards. Viper MB in the house says, what up, fam? Leaning Texas and Arizona, but hasn't fired yet. There's Lucas Ryan, Rocco Rogers in the house. The Sweaty Butcher. Marco Lou says, go Vegas. Go Vegas. There's Von Polo ready to get to work. Christopher Comentini, the Sweaty Butcher. Red Girl. Great to see Red Girl now. JW says, it was an incredible night. Sad hockey is over. Christopher Comentini ready to go. Mike M. Chocolatey Waterfall said made so much money last night. Oh, I love it. I love hearing it. Wine Time Piker ready to go. JW says Oakland A's pull the win. It was a glorious thing to watch. We have the best bet in from BJ. Diamondbacks. More Diamondbacks love here in the chat. We put that right below Justin McElvee's action. There you go. Locked and loaded. And there's one time saying Mike M's absolutely unreal. Yeah, it's nuts. Lucas says 10 years from now, Mike M will own a private island. Hopefully it's Epstein's. My pleasure, Dan Keller. There's Mark's reviews. It is time to get to work. Thank you guys for joining us. What a group, man. What a group we have. From Gambler's First Glance to Spreadsheet Play of the Day to the Taint Play of the Day to Pimp Slap to Stacks to Max Bets from Lamont or BJ. It's just, it's us working together, and that's why we are succeeding. And it's great. I'm very thankful to be a part of it. Let's get to work. Let's bring on your star every second Wednesday here. And, he's more than that. Can't wait to watch him rock college football, NFL football, both not too far away. And he's ready to rock for us here. We are fortunate to have the opportunity to cap with him. Please welcome from Ocala, Florida, the Big Ragoo to the show. What up, Doc? How are you?
What's up? What's up, guys? What's up, chat? Slap out to the pimp slapper from astronomical, otherworldly numbers, like you like to call them. But yeah, man, we definitely have the best group to work with, and I think the finest show on the net right here, brother. Let's get it done. My numbers are not where I want them to be right now, but you know what? We're skating along. We'll turn the tide on this thing here. My last few plays, a few days have been pretty good. 12 and 4 the last 3 days, so not too shabby.
Well, we believe in you enormously, and you've given us 50 bets with an average line of plus 104. You're down 1.77 units just because of a rough last show.
Yeah, last show was rough. And your Blue Jays, they keep sticking it to me every time. No pun intended about my fellow Toronto family that I have up there. They're all big-time Blue Jays fans, but I told them I got to stay away from the Jays for a little while because they keep getting me with or against. But anyhow, we're making money today. That's what it's all about.
We are, and they're a tricky team to cap, the Jays. I don't feel like I got my finger on the trigger with them. I don't know what the hell is going on. There's DT in the house, Kongs, Clips, Mr. Heat, Spenny, Penny Bombs, Nut Flush, Alan, Nasty, Nate. What a group we have here. And we believe in you enormously. And you've never worked with me on a season ever in the history of your career with me with minus units. Ever in any sport ever. So you're one.
I plan to keep it that way too.
You're one average day for you out of the black. So we believe in you enormously. Let's get to work. Thank you guys for joining us. Big MLB card ahead of us. And I've made 4 moves with some big plus money spots, but there's more that I'd like. There's Sammy Comer. We've missed Sammy Comer in the chat. Troy Torrance ready to get to work. Let's go. Let me make sure I have everything up here. Let me get this swish up so we can do the weather. I do have Ballpark Pal up here. Let me just confirm. Yes, I do. Okay. Let's get to work right now. We start with the double dip. We're going to break down both games of the double dip first and foremost to get started. We start at 1:10 p.m. Eastern. Game 1, Atlanta Braves 40-26, 20-11 on the road to the Detroit Tigers 27-37, 15-16 at home. We're at Comerica Park in Detroit, Michigan. Sharpie was absolutely right about this spot yesterday. No game was played. This one starts at 66 Fahrenheit, 8.6 miles per hour out to left center, gets down to 7.4 miles per hour. This is Comerica. Let's see what Ballpark Pal thinks of today's factors at Comerica, and minus 15% home run rate. But they see a lot of ticky-tack action here, and it's actually plus 5% runs, plus 15% singles. So there are only 5 stadiums in America that have a plus run situation, and Comerica is one of them at 5%, plus 5%. Let's go over to the cash flow here for our first game. We got a lot of afternoon action for us to attack today. And we have Spencer Strider. Again, we talked about yesterday coming off a horrible start to see what he will do next. There's been just a ridiculous move to Atlanta. It almost makes me think, do we have the pitchers changed? And we really do. We really have a, almost an 85-cent move. Oh, my goodness. Just a monstrous. Look at this. Wow. A 91-cent move to the Atlanta Braves. This doesn't make sense, really. I think it opened up this morning at a minus 233 instead of looking at what happened last night. They say it opened up at minus.
They got off Lorenzen, right? And they started Olsen today.
That must be it. That's got to be it. Yeah, you nailed that right now because Lorenzen's starting game 2. So let's not go with the 91-cent move, but let's say there's a legitimate 22-cent move from minus 233 at 8:52 a.m. To 256. So let's do that. Troy Torrance looking at the Braves and the under. Piker says I've got Detroit cap closer to 150. I see a lot of value, but the market saying no way. There's our guy Nut Flush Allen in the house. Says just heads up, chat. I'm training a new guy at work. We'll be bouncing in and out of the chat, but please don't hesitate to DM if you need any San Francisco insight. You're a good man, a very good man. Let's take a look at the total here for this one. And then we'll go into the cash flow as well. So let's get this total up and see what the Action Network is telling us about this spot, game 1 in Detroit. First off, 32% of the tickets and 90% of the cash are supposedly on Detroit. That's hard to believe, even with the 22-cent move. From a total perspective, this opened up, or 32% of the tickets are on the under and 70% of the cash, 30 and 70. So let's see. We're going to look at this total movement from 8:30 this morning instead of anything else because, that will cut down some of the movement here. So from 8:52 this morning, there has been a 5-cent move to the over, which is I take that back. Excuse me. Sorry, I was reading that wrong. There's been a 10-cent move to the under. It actually did go down to 8 for a while this morning. But it's back at 8.5. Back at 8.5 there at Pinnacle. Spencer Strider, 4 innings, 8 hits, 8 earned runs, 2 homers, 8 Ks, 2 walks, and a 13-10 extra inning win at home versus the Mets. Was up against Verlander, and that start didn't look very good. He's been very good on the road this year. 34 2/3, 4-1, 2.86 ERA, 190 opponent's batting average, 52 Ks, 17 walks, 4 homers. Reese Olson has looked very good. Strikeout king in the minors coming up here, and we thought that he might be vulnerable, but he's not been at all. He had an opener in his last start, 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 3 Ks, 1 walk, and a 3-2 loss at Philly. This is his first home start, which is interesting. I'm not entirely sure, what that means, but this is his first home start. He's had 2 appearances now on the road. Braves versus righties since May 1st, 257, 765 OPS. Tigers just 228, 663, and both bullpens have been good. Spenny Penny Bombs looking at Austin Riley Homer. Take it away, Big Ragoo. First game of the double dip, Braves Tigers.
Yeah, I'm not going to say Olsen's a sacrificial lamb today for the Braves, but making his first start at home. Braves coming off of 2 L's, and I think that little rain out might help the Braves out a little bit. Just to kind of regroup and get some things, get the clubhouse a little looser or whatever. So they did lose to the Nats and the Tigers the first out. But to me, I got to cap this to what I know as far as, what Strider can do. He has been vulnerable a little bit. The Mets touched him up a little, but, for the Tigers to see him, a guy of this magnitude and a team that struggles at the plate. So I put my focus on that cap, basically, do I think that the Braves will probably win the game? Yeah. Are they going to win by margin? Possibly. But, his K numbers are going to be ridiculous. He's averaging, better than a K and a half per inning. And I don't want to get involved with that because, we're going north of 10 here for that one. But what I do feel confident is I think the Braves bats will come back to life. And, they'll probably score about 5, 6, 7 runs possibly. And I'm looking at a first 3 here with Strider, to go through that lineup early and come away with a half run. I think I get it on the cheap too. I got to lay half a run to do it. But the first 3 Braves minus a half run at minus 120 FanDuel.
Wow. A very interesting I don't mind the first threes minus a half either. This one is I was not thinking about first three minus a half, minus 120 at FanDuel. I'd be curious to see what is being offered here at Bet 365 for that first three minus a half, and yeah, it's the exact same price, minus 120.
Yeah, I think he goes through the lineup at least one time that way, and if they don't hit him early, obviously, and the Braves can put up one run.
Yeah.
And then at the minus 120 number, I like that.
I get it. First three minus a half, minus 120. Troy Torrance, same game parlay, Braves money line and the under 10.5. There's our guy Tom Miggins in the house. We shouted him out off the top for that Michael A. Taylor Jack at 9-1. What a bet that was. The Dab Fowler in the house as well. Piker says we should be expecting a bad start from Reese Olson. 2 good ones followed by Atlanta. Seems unlikely he continues to shine. I don't know. I had Philly. I don't think that was the easiest of all situations, but I get it. There's Nate Dogg 420 in the house. Robert Franklin on the over 8. Sweaty Butcher says Striker K's is a play for him too. I find it interesting. Let's just see exactly what Pinnacle has done with this 8, because they moved it to 8. They're showing 8.5 here on the board of market movements that I look at, but I would like to see exactly what they've done with this total, because a move back up, it would be a surprise. Here we go, game 1. So they're showing 8.5, and the over 8 is now minus 117. It was up to minus 115, down to minus 109. This over 8's been all over the place. But at 11:09 a.m., this over 8 was at minus 109. An 8-cent move to the over 8 at Pinnacle is something that takes my attention. And Stimmy OG right there saying he's big on the over 8. Akbar, our guy Akbar has BetMGM first three Braves minus a half, minus 110. So let's give you that. They're minus 110 over at BetMGM. Thank you for looking for that, Akbar. There's LJ from H-Down on. Saying Acuna averaging 1.5 bases on the road. I'm going to stay off this spot. But I will cheer you on Ragoo. Let's do our due diligence for game 2. I know a lot of people don't like moving on game 2.
Yeah, I'm one of those people, but let's do it.
Let's do it just because it's also at 4:40 p.m. Eastern, and those cappers here out west will have an opportunity, to keep this going through their afternoon. So I expect Dylan Dodd, but we have AJ Smith Shaver listed there from. Let me see, what do we have at RotoWire? I have Dylan Dodd at RotoWire. I have no idea who is going to be pitching here. Let's see, who do they have at Bet365? They have Dylan Dodd. So Dylan Dodd is on the books right now and on RotoWire. So I'm going to expect Dylan Dodd to pitch. So I'm going to break it down with Dylan Dodd here at this point. Let's see what. Okay. Cool. Okay. So Dylan Dodd, I expect to pitch. He looked terrible when he came up, and he's looked terrible in AAA this year. So the Tigers aren't hitting lefties since May 1st, 227, 696 OPS. But Dylan Dodd, just turned 25 a couple weeks ago, third-round pick. And in the bigs, he's had 4 starts, 6.64 ERA, 1.77 whip, 10 Ks, 5 walks, 5 jacks. Hasn't looked good. His last start was May 25th. Went 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, 2 overs, 3 Ks, 1 walk, and 8-5 win at home versus the Phillies. He started 8 games down in AAA Gwinnett. 2-4, 7.07 ERA, 1.7 whip. He's been bad. 9 home runs he's allowed in 35 2/3. Looks like they're going to give him the opportunity to pitch. And you guys know what I think of Michael Lorenzen. I like him. I think he's bet on, and he's coming off getting lit up here at Comerica. Again, he signed a big contract in the offseason with Detroit. I like the brass at Detroit, under AJ Hinch. I think it's a good group, and I believe in what they saw in Lorenzen. Now he's coming off getting lit up and smoked at home by the Diamondbacks, 6 2/3, 6 runs, 1 homer, 3 Ks, 1 walk. But he has good numbers at home. So even with that absolute ass kicking, and he's only throwing 30 30, he's a 3.86 ERA, and opponents are hitting 232 off of him. So if it's confirmed, which we see now confirmed with Dylan Dodd, if the Braves win the first game comfortably, I'm going to want to move on Lorenzen first 5. But the problem is that there's really very little reward for doing that. The first 5 is plus 140. You're going up against the Braves. I guess I'd rather knock it down to 3. and get the plus 125. For me to really want to do that, I would like the Braves to win game 1. But it's certainly on my radar today is to back the Tigers first 3 in game 2. Any thoughts on Lorenzen, Dylan Dodd, or expectations for the second game?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the move here makes sense for the with Hintz to do that, to try to get, Lorenzen a good outing, versus, in the game 2 situation with, with the scratch yesterday. So, and he's got a good pitcher to go up against here to kind of move forward in that spot. So, like you said, if you expect a decent outing for him and the Braves get the W in the first game, it makes perfect sense to kind of get behind Detroit early. And the earlier the better, I would say. I like that first 3 look. Actually, that's a sharp look in my book right now. So I wouldn't have a problem backing that. Matter of fact, if I'm gonna probably lock that down if the Braves win the first game. That's probably a look that I would get involved with. I'll put it out on Twitter later on, though. But we'll see how the first game goes.
I love it. All right, there is the double dip. So we have Ragoo opening up his action on the Braves first 3 minus a half. And I will double back with Lorenzen first 3 money line if the Braves take care of business in the first one. And Piker says the price on Lorenzen is not as good. You're right, it's not as good. It's not nearly as good. And that's telling. But it is a legitimate plus spot. Not just a little bit of a plus spot, So I'm okay with it. I think we have a big advantage, and I think Dodd will get touched enough. The lineup for the first game is pretty soft here with the Tigers, which makes me think that the lineup for game 2 should be strong enough. We have McKinstry, Torkelson, Carpenter, Baez, Matone, Ibanez, Cabrera, Haas, and Marisnik in game 1. For the Braves, Acuna, Olsen, Riley, Darno, Rosario, Albies, Arcia, Pilar, and Harris. Manning center field. All right, let's roll on. DC Capper says, I've been winning for the past 3 weeks. Says, when your confidence high, the winners seem to fly off the sheet. I love it. Great job. Keep rolling. Marco Carrasco looking at Acuna, Gallo, Goldschmidt for home runs at this point, and tops that leaning to the Tigers' first 5. All right, we roll on. Next up for us, 1:10 p.m. Eastern, afternoon action in Minnesota. Congratulations to all of you who cashed with Minnesota, that 4-run 9th inning against, who I felt like was the best closer in baseball so far this year. So that was very impressive. We're in Target Field in Minneapolis. We have the Twins 19-14 at home, and the Brewers just 16-17 on the road. I didn't move on the Cardinals. I was just going to put a small bet on the Cardinals to win the division. They looked so bad yesterday. I mean, just atrocious. And right now, the Cardinals to win the division probably is better than that 600. It is now 650. 650 for the Cardinals to win the division. Maybe it's time to put a small bet on the Pirates to win it. And the Brewers just don't look good. TJ says the Giants are good right now. They are playing good ball, and they look good yesterday. But here, let's talk Brewers, Twinkies. We'll start with the weather at Target in Minnesota. It is 80 Fahrenheit, 5.7 miles per hour out to right field. Stays between 5.3 and 5.7. And when we go to Ballpark Pal, they think this is a bad day for offense. They have minus 9% homers, minus 7% doubles and triples, minus 6% singles, and minus 12% runs. The only ballpark that has a worse run expectation here from an average game is Wrigley, 1% worse. Mike Kemp says Oberon, his under streak is 5-22 on the under, including 13 in a row. TJ says Milwaukee loses 6 in a row today. The lineup is so bad. Look at their lineup. Let's talk about their lineup, but let's also talk about Colin Ray and Bailey Ober. Colin Ray's been better than I expected him to be. There's just no getting around it. I did not expect him to be this good. He's coming off a 6-3 loss at home versus the Orioles, but he did not allow an earned run in 5 innings, 8 Ks, 1 walk. He looked excellent. He's been good enough on the road, just 21 2/3, but 4.57 ERA, 213 opponent's batting average. Bailey Ober is coming off his worst start of the year. I mean, he's been lights out this year. 2.61 ERA, 0.97 WHIP, 47 Ks and 51 2/3. He's allowed just 4 home runs in those 51 2/3. He goes up against Tampa Bay's lineup, and they get to him in Tampa. 5 1/3, 4 runs, just 3 were earned, a homer, 7 Ks and 2 walks. At home, he's got a 2.97 ERA, points hitting 208 off him. But the Brewers can't hit. 222, 664 OPS. Twins 226, 712. Again, that's from May 1st. And the Twins bullpen has been so much better, almost 2 runs per 9 innings better than the Brewers bullpen. Let's take a look at the line history here, and then we'll get into the cash flow and then hear what Ragoo thinks about this spot. First off, I was looking very closely at an under. I like both these pitchers, but there has not been a movement towards the under. There was an immediate move towards the over. This line didn't come out till 8:08 in the morning. And it wasn't a big move, but it was a move. There has not been, for 1 second, there is not. Oh, I guess there was. For 12 minutes. For 12 minutes, there was a 2-cent move to the under. But since then, it's gone. And we have 6 cents of movement to the over at this point. So not much, but 6 cents of movement to the over. Let's take a look at the cash and see what the difference is there. We come over here, and then this is surprising me. I mean, I guess the market not expecting a bounce back spot from Bailey Ober. Twins open up -155, and now -151. So we have 6 cents to the over, 4 cents to the Brewers. It's confusing enough here for me not to have pulled the trigger. Let's take a look at the cash flow on this one. First off, with the total, 65% of the tickets, 66% of cash on that over. From a money line perspective, 63% of tickets, 82% of cash on Minnesota, but the market's not moving towards them, and that's a big red flag. And we hear, TJ talking about this offense, and it's an ugly, ugly lineup. I mean, you look at Yelich, Adames, Tellez, Miller, Contreras, Singleton, Anderson, Urias, Weimer. I mean, it's ugly. And then look at Minnesota's lineup. I mean, how bad does this look without Buxton in it? Julian, Solano, Kirilloff, Correa, Larnach, Gallo, Kepler, Vasquez, Taylor. What a call by our guy Tom Miggins on Taylor yesterday. Take it away. Maybe Ragoo can shed some light on this spot. Target field, Minneapolis, Brewers, Twins.
Yeah, well, they got Correa. That's all they need on that team, to be honest with you, to win games. But even on a good day with the Brewers lineups, they're still kind of shaky for putting numbers up on the board. But I agree with you, like on the early looks here with Ray and Ober. I think Ray is a lot better pitcher than his numbers indicate, especially like his last few outings. I think he's like 3-0 out of the last 4 outings. And then Ober, had a little bit of a shakeup, but his numbers are still pretty good. So I was thinking the same thing. I wasn't thinking a ton of offense here. I was thinking like lean first 5 under real hard here. I didn't make it an official play, but I think even though, like you said, the numbers kind of give you mixed signals. I mean, on paper and what you read into the most recent starts with these guys and the weak lineups. I mean, how could you not like an under in this spot here?
Yeah.
I'm talking first 5 now, not full game. So I know the numbers you track are basically full game under, right? So I was wondering, is there any way to see numbers on first 5s, how they move?
Absolutely. Let's go right there, right now, to the market movement on the first 5. Here we go. I'd be curious to see what is here as well. So let's see what Penny has done. Penny opened this up at 8:09 a.m. at a pick'em, and it's back there again. There was a 5. Oh no, excuse me. No, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the opener again. Sorry. No, there's been a 5-cent move to the under. Yeah. The under 4.5 opened up -107. It's at -112 right now. 5 cents of movement towards them.
Yeah, I mean, I lean that way really hard. I like that look on the first 5 under in that spot there. I haven't bet it, but that's one I might, before the show's out, I might add that one in.
I mean, I agree completely. I mean, even TJ says market does not line up. How's the under not getting slammed? If they think it's an over, the line should be moving to Minnesota. It makes no sense. Yeah, I agree. This just feels like a first 5 under. It really, really does. These lineups are so weak. I think we can trust the pitchers enough.
Yeah,
but you heard Joey Gallo homer for Spenny Penny bombs. But you heard LJ, Brewers' last 5 losses, 4-1 to the over. Twins' last 7 games, average 8 total. He's taking the over 8.5. So I'm with you. I mean, we'll probably just be finishing up the show when this game pops off. So we'll have to make that decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like it too. TJ says, I think the first 5 under is correct. Troy Torrance sees the market moving towards Minnesota here. And I had, since 9:34 a.m., just a 3-cent move to Milwaukee. This opened up with Milwaukee at plus 143 at Pinnacle. And only 1 point at 8:14 a.m., 6 minutes later, was it, higher. Since then, it's just been lower, and it got down to plus 137 before a slight bounce back. Okay, let's move on. TJ says this is an over umpire for what it's worth. Stimmy OG saying in and out nerfy. So, and Troy Torrance taking the Twins first half -0.5. We also were given that by Piff's Perfect Parlays, who likes the Twins first 5 -0.5 and the over 5.5. All right, let's move on to the San Francisco Giants. I feel like I was kind of lazy yesterday with my need to back a couple pitchers that I was wrong with, and Flaherty being one of them. And the market was screaming Giants, and yet I still was just bullheaded about it, and I should stop that. San Francisco Giants 35-32, 17-15 on the road. St. Louis Cardinals 27-41, 13-20 at home. Busch Stadium, St. Louis, Missouri. I look at this Giants lineup, and I know Nutflush knows it so well, and he knows when to time the team total overs, but it just doesn't look that strong to me, and that it's a mistake because it's a lot stronger than I give it credit for. Let's start with the weather in St. Louis. 85 Fahrenheit, 6.9 miles per hour out to right field. Goes down to 6.3 miles per hour. Let's see what they think of it here. What do they think of it here? Busch is -8% for home runs, -7% overall. Busch Stadium today. Let's go into the line history here for the St. Louis Cardinals. Here we go. We have the Cardinals opening up at -129. They're now -150. So we have a 21-cent move to the St. Louis Cardinals. Let's go over to the total here in this one. Let's move back. So what was that? 21-cent move? Sorry, I just need to make sure I'm well aware of all of these numbers as we go through. So that was a legit 21-cent move to Montgomery and the Cardinals. From a total standpoint, this opened up at 8.5 at most books. It opened up at Pinnacle at 8.5 yesterday at 6:11 p.m. It didn't hit 9 until 21 minutes ago. So it hit 21 minutes ago. We have a half-run move over at Pinnacle, but you can still find 8.5. So we have a 21-cent move to the Cardinals and a move to the over. We'll see if the cash flow correlates with that. We have, first off, 53% of the tickets, 66% of the cash on St. Louis. From a total perspective, you have 68% of the tickets and 69% of cash on the over. So who then do you think will be getting touched in this one? Troy Torrance says Giants best team in the league versus lefties since May 22nd. Even going back to May 1st, they're hitting lefties hard. 299, 798 OPS. Tomorrow, by the way, I will switch to May 15th to June 15th. Again, everybody has a different system. A lot of people like last 2 weeks. I don't think the sample size is enough. I like a little bit bigger. So I will switch then from May 15th to June 15th. But here we go. Anthony Disclafani. Last start at home was good. His stats have flipped. For so long, his splits have been spectacular at Oracle, weaker on the road. This year, he's been weaker at home and very strong on the road. But he's coming off a nice start at home, 3-2 loss at home, 6-3 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 Ks, 4 walks. On the road, he's got a 2.64 ERA, 204 opponents batting average. I guess the market is saying Jarrett Montgomery had a breakthrough in his last game because that was against a team that's hitting lefties extremely hard and harder than the Giants since May 1st. Maybe not since May 22nd, which is what Troy Torrance gave us, but that was against the Reds. 6 innings, 7-4 win. He didn't allow an earned run, 6 Ks, 1 walk. And that was a huge loser for me. I was pretty high on Lively in that spot. Lively got lit up. We'll talk about Lively today. 32 2/3, 4.68 ERA, 287 opponents batting average at home. But that was a great home start. Now he's back at home. for consecutive home starts, something that we always talk about and look for. Cards versus righties since May 1st, 245, 766 OPS. They're hitting fine. It's everything else that's going wrong. Giants bullpen has been very good since May 1st, 2.46 ERA, while the Cards bullpen has been poor at 4.30 ERA. This is a fascinating one. Market move, legitimate market move to the Cardinals. Legitimate market move to the over, which to me tells me that Desclafani is vulnerable here. Let's hear what Ragoo has to say. Giants, Cardinals.
Yeah, you look at the picture, it's lost like 10 consecutive games backed up with Montgomery. And like you said, the market move coming back the other way, or coming towards the Cards and the over moving up. So that would almost have to, telegraph that he's in for a good. I think he's been struggling. When I read something about his changeup, he's had real bad struggles, but last outing was pretty decent. So I guess hopefully he's got things figured out if he's going to back the Cards here. But Cards is another one of them teams that are in my pocket that I like to make donations for when I play with or against. But I would say I would have to. I'm gonna pass on this particular spot here. But the market moves. Montgomery's last outing a little bit better. Figuring things out. Desclafani. He's not bad. I mean, he's got a 3.89 ERA, and I agree with that move to the over here. I think one of these guys is going to get touched up, and I think we'll see some crooked numbers on both sides of the fence. But you got to look at the struggles that the Cardinals are going through too. So that might bode well to the over also, as far as giving up the runs with Montgomery and then Desclafani, but. I don't know. This is a head scratcher for me. I mean, the market, that's a strong number, 20+ cent move towards the Cards here. But I just got off of this one, because I can't trust Montgomery just yet. And even though the Giants have been streaking a little bit, and the Cards have been laying low. I've lost 9 out of the last 11, like 3 in a row. And before that, they had a 2-game win streak and lost like 5 in a row. So Cards are very streaky right now, and I can't get behind it. Even though the market shows it, I'm not willing to gamble there. And I think that price, with the move up is more than I want to pay anyway. So I'm just going to pass on this spot here. I wonder what Nutfush says about this.
I'd be curious too. I'll send him a message, see if he can pop in.
Here
he is. Here he is. He says, just saw the confirmed lineup for San Francisco, and no fucking way I fade this lineup for San Francisco today. He says, it's an early game, so it's tricky, but this lineup is extremely exciting. That's Slater, Metos, Estrada, Flores, Bailey, Wade, Schmidt, VR, and Yastrzemski turning the lineup over. Well, it just doesn't correlate enough for me. There's our guy, Ron Crawford. Is that the in the office today? So Yankees minus. So I'm guessing that's a spreadsheet play today. Yankees minus 108. Ron Crawford off a nice casher yesterday, and that record looking nice right now. So I believe that's Ron Crawford's spreadsheet. So let me just.
Yeah, I'm gonna get behind the pitcher when he's like throwing well, or he's throwing well and he has a bad game, and then he shows life the next game out. Then he's back on track. When a guy's been struggling, I mean, his numbers are not terrible. As far as the wins and losses are not great, but I'm just saying, when he's up on a bump, they just don't win with him out there. They just not of late anyway. So we'll see. Maybe next out. Maybe this is a game that kind of going into the break. In a few weeks, maybe he figures things out. Coming out of the break, he's a different guy. But for right now, I don't want no part of him.
I agree. Well, no, I don't. Sorry, I fear the Giants against lefties enough that the X's and O's don't all correlate for me. But I think that was a breakthrough for Montgomery last start. I think the consecutive starts at home. TJ says, maybe it's because of the sweep that he says he can't believe they're minus 150. But I think the market's telling us that Montgomery's going to have a good start. But how does it correlate if the total goes from 8.5 to 9? Are you telling me that Desclafani is vulnerable? And maybe that's the case, but with it all said and done, I don't want to be involved. And Nutflush Allen says that Metos plus 800 home run prop says the lineup is why it's moving to the over. All right, pass. So that is our afternoon action. Ragoo's going to be on the Braves first 3 minus a half. It looks like my only opportunity, unless we decide to move on that first 5 under in Milwaukee, Minnesota, which I'm not against. At all.
You know what? Let's make it official. Let's get that done now.
Okay. So Ragoo is moving on the first 5 unders because this is concluding our afternoon action here. We're going to move into 7 p.m. games after this. So it's good to take one last look here. Nice to start the day with a winner, too. Makes things much easier. Here we go. The first 5, we have minus 110 at Bodog. Pinnacles at minus 112. Sports Interaction. Wow. Bet Chris has moved this to minus 126. I wonder, let's see when this move happened. We must see when this move happened here. Because this is a sharp book. Wow. So they had it. So they had it at 4.5. Listen to how wild these market movements are for this game. This might end up keeping me off at the volatility, in all honesty, but I don't know why it would keep me off of it. I take that back. So there's a 2-cent move after the first hour and a minute that's out on Bet Chris. Sharp book. They move it to 4 at 9:30 a.m. Once it's at 4, there's a huge bet on the over. It moved 15 cents to the over in 3 minutes, and then they put it back up to 4.5. But even since it's been at 4.5, there's been 6 cents more movement on the under. So I guess when it's at 4, people are hammering the over, and when it's at 4.5, people are hammering the under. But we have Sports Interaction, and I don't think this is I know Pete, when he saw an off market line, he didn't want to take it, but this is available for all of us to bet at Sports Interaction, a completely legitimate book, and if it's available here, then it should be part of our, should just be part of our. Oh shit! This is interleague. It should be part of our record keeping. So I just want to see this here, make sure that this is a legit line. Let's go back. Sorry, to American odds, and here we go. So we have this spot, the first 5 at Sports Interaction is they've closed. Oh no, here, yeah, it's minus 101 to the under. Can you believe that? Line shopping, you can have a 25 cents different price on the first 5 total, depending on just line shopping between Bet Chris, which is what the same Bet Chris and Bookmaker run in tandem, right? And then let me just make sure that Bookmaker has that number here. Well, Bookmaker does, but they're showing the over 4 minus 120. This is wild. Okay, sorry I jumped all over that, but this is absolutely wild. So first 5 under 4.5 for Ragoo at Sports Interaction right now, minus 101. Absolutely wild. Sean Pulliam says over here again. It's not the full. I mean, the full game. Both of these. Well, the first off, the Brewers bullpen is extremely vulnerable. So I wouldn't want to be on a full game anyways. Wow. Okay. First 5 under 4.5 minus 101. I still want to sit with it, but it's got to be the play. I mean that's why. Like, I can understand it getting hammered once it gets to 4. There's Dabby Cab, and now it's great to see you, Dabby Cab. He'll be with us Friday. I think I got to move on this with you. So Ragoo is on the first 5 under 4.5 minus 101, and I just want to see what I'd be offered. And I'm sorry that we've taken kind of so long on this spot, but first 5 under 4.5 minus 110 here. Wow, just the difference is monstrous. Okay, let's roll on, but I think I'm going to roll with you, Ragoo, on this spot. The first 5 under 4.5. And as I said, I also am very interested in that first 3 in game 2 of the double dip, but I'd like to see what happens in game 1. Let's move on. Let's move on to night action here. We got Big Ragoo in the house. 7 p.m. Eastern, New York Yankees, 39-29, 18-12. Lucas Ryan on the first 5 over. Lucas Ryan, you can get some, you can get a lot, depending, I guess, if you don't have multiple books, but you can get a much better line than that right now. Markets all over the place in this one here. Yankees, Mets, Citi Field in Queens, New York. Mets just 15-13 at home, 5 games under 500 on the season. Yankees playing well and handling things with Judge out of the lineup. Offense still, taking care of business. Let's take a look at the line history here. We have Verlander versus Cole. We have a 2-cent move to Verlander, which is pretty hard to believe after watching Verlander pitch so far this year. But we have a 2-cent move to Verlander. Let's see what we have here. Okay. Oh, I feel you. It's all good, Lucas. And let's see what we have for the total here. I have it up right now, and I am curious. So why don't we just see what the first 5 opened at 4 at most books. It didn't at Pinnacle. They opened this at 3.5 juice to the over. There's been a 5-cent move to the over at 3.5. Let's go over to the full game here for the total. So we have a 2-cent move to the Mets money line for the total here with Cole Verlander. This opened up at 7.5, across the board. It opened up at 7.5, and it dropped to 7 at 8:30 this morning. Right back to 7.5 at 8:43. So at this point, we've had still a 10-cent move to the over, which is surprising given the fact that it dropped to 7 at 8:26 in the morning. Interesting. So we have a 10-cent move to the over, a 2-cent move towards the New York Mets. When we go and take a look at the cash flow, look at this, 92% of tickets and 95% of cash on the over. Wow. That's wild. And it moved to 7 at one point to get even more money coming in on the over. I mean, that's just confusing. Then 78% of tickets and 88% of cash on the Yankees. That's telling me here that the market expects Verlander to have a big bounce back start here. That's what it's telling me. Let's go over batter versus pitcher. But first, Garrett Cole, 7-1, 2.84 ERA, 1.14 WHIP. He has been, he's been very good. The start 5 days ago, we capped it, and Jose was all over Garrett Whitlock against Garrett Cole, and Whitlock had a great start. Red Sox won. It was wild. There was a huge market move towards the Red Sox. On the road, Cole's been great. 3-0, 2.93 ERA, just a 252 opponents batting average. I mean, not excellent, but Verlander has not been good anywhere. 4.85 ERA. I mean, we're only talking 39 innings, but he's not been good. Wash Redskin says Verlander is an old man when it comes to being a baseball player. It's starting to show. At home, he's thrown 19 innings. He's a 3.79 ERA, 222 opponents batting average. Yankees since May 1st, rating 238, 737 OPS versus righties. Mets 233, 705. And the Yankees bullpen is now almost 2.25 runs better than the Mets bullpen over 9 innings since May 1st. Let's touch on the weather here at City. We have, here we go, 66 Fahrenheit, 11.4 miles per hour out, dies down to 10.5. And then Ballpark Pal has City Field as being a plus 2% homers, minus 7% runs. And the big thing is minus 8% doubles and triples. I'm shocked at this. All of this money on the over, and yet Pinnacle would still drop it to 7. Now, there still has been a 10-cent move to the over, so it's confusing. Ron Walsick says Mets good reliever Smith ejected before throwing a pitch, comes in with a 10-game suspension. Wow. Piker says American League East teams versus National League teams this year are winning at an astounding rate. Verlander having the worst start to any season. I saw early market concern. He's on Yankees' first 5 and full game. Joe Yerger says Yankees 11-3 in Cole starts. DC Kepper on the under 4 first 5. What's that going to cost you, DC? I'm sure that's going to cost here. Con Clips on the Mets -1. And Sean Pulliam says, shout out to Mike M for the data that led to the Yanks money line yesterday. Dabby Cab says Verlander's had 3 bad starts in those games. I think the pitch clock got to him because he wasn't able to slow the game down like he always has once pressure started mounting. And we've got lots of player props here for spending penny bombs that I'll copy and paste. Take it away for us. This is your home city.
Home City. Subway Series, guys. Subway Series. Yeah, my first thoughts was smash the Yanks in this spot. Verlander usually throws pretty decent games against the Yanks. Cole's been phenomenal in my book, and the Mets have been struggling. So that was my first initial, the first thought that popped in my head when I looked at this thing. But then, and then I said, well, you know what, 7s. That's telling me that they're expecting Verlander, and then plus you got to weigh the Mets bats too. So the Mets bats of late, the Yankees, Verlander versus the Yanks. So there's a lot of moving pieces on both sides here. This could be a 1-0 game, or it could be an 11-10 game for I doubt we see that kind of game, but definitely, I don't mind the overlook. And usually, like I say, every time I'm on the show with you, if I see sevens, that usually puts me on the first 5 over, like immediately, or first 5 under immediately to look at that, possibly first threes in some cases. But the key component to me for this game here is the Mets struggles, versus the inconsistencies with the Mets, the lineup. They remind me of the Padres. Like Dom and I were talking about that the other day. But I think if Verlander has a decent start, then here we go again. We could be looking at a pretty decent under. Look, because the under depends on Verlander. I'll put it that way. So I think Cole's going to hold it down against the Mets for sure. And then it's a pretty low number too to get involved with Cole. You're not going to see too many Coles when you're going to be at what, a -110, basically a pick'em game. So I'm going to stay with the Bombers. I rarely back them, in certain cases like this, but I think here it's a buy on price for me for Cole. Was having an outstanding season. So where else are you going to get Cole at pick'em basically against, like I say, Verlander is the biggest equation to the puzzle here, but I know what Cole's going to do, and I think he gets the job done. So I'm going to take the Yankees in the first 5 on the money line. I think Verlander is capable of going 6 or 7. Cole will go 5 or 6.
Yeah, with the way the Mets are playing, I would like a plus line to back them, and the market is telling me to back them. I just don't know. It just doesn't correlate enough for me, and I prefer not to make decisions solely based on the market. But if I did, I'd be on the under. And even though there's still being a 10-cent move to the over, I mean, all this money on the over, you'd think it would have moved to 8. Let's get your first 5 line shopping here for these Yankees. The Bronx Bombers, first 5. Market all over the place. Let's just go right to Pinnacle here and see what they're offering here. MLB.
I know they use 6. I think they used a bunch of pitchers yesterday, both teams too. So I don't want to have to worry about getting into the bullpens for today.
-109 on the Yankees. I think that is the best that we can offer you at a reputable book. -109. Wild. This is Piker says this is a sneaky over. Significant rain is in the forecast here. You're right, Joe. There is significant rain in the forecast here as well. When is that rain coming? This game starts at 7. Good call. I forgot to mention that off the top. Let's just go to New York weather here. See exactly when this is supposed to pop off here. So we have scattered thunderstorms at 2, thunder shower at 5. And then it's going to be a sunny, nice, beautiful night. So they might just push it back a little bit. All right. Yankees first 5 -109 for the Big Ragoo. And spreadsheet play today's on the Yankees at -108. Yankees -108 here. And spreadsheet running nice, man. Spreadsheet running really, really nice. We have him at 20-17, cashing with the Twins -1 +124 yesterday, 54.1%, +3.12 units, ROI +8.43%, average line -102. There we go. The Yankees for both Ragoo and for Ron Crawford. Okay. Let's move on now. We move on to Toronto Blue Jays at Baltimore Orioles, Camden Yards in Baltimore, Maryland here. We have looks from our Spenny Penny Bombs to get us started. He's on Bo Bichette over 1.5 total bases, -125. 2+ hits at +110. RBI at +175. Homer at +825. Also Springer over 1.5 total bases at +115. Vladdy RBI at +140. Jays, Orioles, Camden Yards, and Baltimore, Maryland. Barrios versus Bradish. Let's take a look at the weather here to get started. at Camden, Charm City, 78 Fahrenheit, 15 miles per hour, left to right, right across the diamond. Dies down to 8.6, though. So very heavy winds at first, but dies down. Let's see what Ballpark Pal thinks of this weather here. Let's see what they've got at Oriole Park, minus 2% and even. So pretty regular stuff here at Oriole Park. So let's see. Marco, are you talking about NYC or you're in Baltimore right now? It says it's 75 degrees, just rained a little. It's going to be a nice, cool night. All right, so let's take a look at the line history here for this one. We have Bradish and the Orioles. Sorry, I believe that's first 5. So let's move over to full game and let's go. Here we go. We have Lord Pinnacle. Apologies. Okay, we have these Orioles opening up at minus 104. They're now minus 105. So no movement. 1 cent of movement towards the Orioles. 1 cent of movement. Let's go over to the total in this one. I think this will be telling. We have Pinnacle moving this one. I guess very little movement on this one as well. So this total opened up at 9. Oh, yeah, no movement. Absolutely no movement. So we have no movement on either the total or the side here. Wow. The Jays are not playing good ball. Be very curious to see what the cash flow is on this one. We have 56% of the tickets, 62% of the cash on the Orioles, and the market isn't moving. We have 76% of tickets and 89% of cash on the over. It's a lot of money on the over for the market not to be moving. Fixes in says Baltimore will win again. They have they have to. They have a hype for that Tampa series around the corner. It says the fix is in. Christopher Comentini running back with the O's. Marco Carrasco says go O's. Joe Yerkery says 36-16 and 7 to the over between these two head-to-head. Marco saying can gonna go back-to-back. And then Markel on Orioles first 5 in full game. But Spenny Pennybombs on the Jays first 5, team total over 2.5. I like what Jose Barrios has done this year. Now, he's been very good at home. Struggled a little bit on the road. 47 innings, 3-3, 4.4 ERA, 264 points batting average on the road. He's coming off a really nice start against the Astros, and he shut them down. 6 innings, 2 earned runs. Bradish is coming off an okay start at Milwaukee in their weak bats, 5 innings, 3 earned runs. He's been better at home than he's been on the road. Overall, 4.25 ERA, 1.36 WHIP. At home, he's got a 3.74 ERA, 241 opponents batting average. Blue Jays are hitting righties hard since May 1st, 276, 785 OPS. Orioles 254, 751, and both bullpens have been good. Take it away for us here, Ragoo, Blue Jays, Orioles.
I don't want to get involved with your Jays without getting toasted. I so want to bet this game too, man. This game screams over to me. Doing work on Barrios has been fantastic against the O's too, believe it or not. But his numbers, it's crazy because if you go back, you look at through the lineups. There's some guys in here has had pretty good success, hitting wise, but do they equate to the W? You know what I mean? But even Aaron Hicks has had good numbers against Barrios. But Barrios has been great. I mean, it's like, what do they say, 9-0 with a 2.92. His only career shutout in 12 career against the O's. 67 Ks, 16 walks, and 77 innings. So pretty impressive what he's done with the O's, against them. But then again, like I say, some of the individual numbers are pretty strong too. So he's done well against them. Bradish, I think he can get touched up here. So I want to get involved with it with an over. I'm going to say I'm gonna back your offense today. I'm going to take, even though as bad as you think they've been, I think today's a day where they come through and shine. And every time I try to put an individual play with Bo, I don't cash. I've done it a couple times this year. And the next game he's went out and have monster numbers both times. But today I think I'm just gonna back your O's on the team total. I think there's gonna be runs. I think Bradish could be hit by these guys, and I think Barrios is having a good year. I think he holds it down here. So I'm not gonna back him on the W, but I'm gonna back him on the team total.
Yeah, I get it. So let's get it for you. So you said O's, but you were talking Jays team total,
The
right?
Jays, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it's all good. All good. I knew that was the case. So let's grab this for you. full game team total for the Jays is they're both at 4.5 here at Pinnacle. I'll see if I can give you options, but it's plus 101 for the Jays at 4.5.
Yeah.
Do you want me to see what a 4 would look like?
No, they're going to put up 6 today.
All right. So
today's the day. Big crooked numbers for you Jays.
Ragoo's on the Jays team total over 4.5 at plus 101. Plus 101. I think that I'm gonna have to stay off here. I completely get the look, and when you look at batter versus pitcher, I mean, it just even becomes more glaring. With it, that would be the spot.
Even on the other side, surprisingly enough, that's why I had to do a double take. When I seen the numbers for the O's versus Berrios and Berrios' win-loss ratio, I was like, that's pretty solid for having those numbers against. But I guess they're able to space the hits out or whatever just to kind of keep it or score enough runs to keep the victories intact for them. So
look at that.
Certain teams have that. Certain teams they match up. Like Strider with the Mets, he has trouble with them. Just over time, certain pitchers give certain teams fits and vice versa. So,
God, these guys really get to Bradish. I feel like Berrios is just a different pitcher than he was last year.
Yeah, he definitely is. I mean, he definitely is. Definitely.
So that means that we're sitting here on the money line with 55 and 62 on the Orioles, so there's no movement there. I'm close to moving on the Jays' first 5, which I was not at all expecting to do until we've broken this all down. I do not want to trust the Jays a full game, and I didn't really even want to trust the Jays at all until hearing this breakdown. But we're not going to be able to see it over at Pinnacle for whatever reason. So let's look at the line movement here at Bet Online. And there's been nothing. This opened up with the Jays at minus 120. That's why. Jays at minus 120. That's expensive. Minus 120. And here at Bet 365, Jays first 5 minus 115. And top sets on the O's here. Back on Baltimore to get to Berrios. Wash Redskin loving the Jays today. Marco Krasker says Jays might get on the O's early and then live bet the O's to win. Kelly McKinnon says thinking the Jays wake up, rolling with Jays minus 1.5 and the over. Mike Kemp says Toronto's lost 12 in a row versus the AL East. Jesus, what? Wow. Pretty hard to lose 13 in a row in those circumstances. I don't know. DC Capper is on that Yankees first 5 under 4 minus 130. Thank you, DC, for letting me know the number. Okay, I'm going to move on the Jays' first 5 here. Those numbers against Bradish are, outrageous. And I know that Bradish is at home. It can be tough. Troy Torrance says when 70% of the money's on the over, but the market moves to the under, the over is 13-9 straight up still. Wow. All right. That's going to be my first edition. The Blue Jays' first 5. Ragoo's on the Jays team total over 4.5. And we roll on. Next up for us, 7:10 p.m. Eastern, Colorado Rockies, 29-40, 13-21 on the road at the Boston Red Sox, 33-35, 17-18 home at Fenway Park in Boston, Massachusetts. And we have the Red Sox whisperer running very hot with the Red Sox. Unlucky last night with the game going to extras for his superlative record that he's got with the Red Sox of late. Please welcome the host of Say Hey Plays of the Day, the man known for multiple liquids on his tits, Jose Bouquet. Jose,
sorry, go ahead.
How are you, my friend?
I'm fucking angry about all this bullshit that happened yesterday. That was a very frustrating day, and I think I'm Johnny fucking know-it-all. I bet the under in this fucking game, and it's windy as fuck. It's going to rain, hopefully. I hope this game doesn't go off. I hope it fucking pours because my bet in this game is fucking hot garbage now.
Well, let's go deeper into this. So we have a very perturbed, I guess that's what we call Jose, perturbed here.
Easy over
rain to start this game. 73 Fahrenheit, 11.9 miles per hour out to left field, then 10.2 down to 7.4. But offensively, this is plus 33% doubles and triples. I guess that's because it's blowing out right to the monster.
Yep, this game's gonna fucking soar over. Apparently, I bet the under 9.5 last night like a fucking slapdick, and now it's 10.5. So it's great times here. And again, I'm gonna keep betting the Red Sox unders because it fucking took extra innings last night to get over in that game, and now it's gonna take a wind blowing incredibly hard out to the monster. Apparently, so this is just great times. And the real question is, are we gonna go back to the Rockies? I don't know. I've been back and forth on this too. I think I'm passing on the Rockies today. I've cashed first 5 on them both games, and thank God I cashed first 5 on them yesterday, or else that would have been catastrophic. But yeah, it's a tough game here, and I'm sorry for just kind of jumping in here and just
it's great
putting my bulbous lips on the fucking table here.
You're passionate about the game. I love it. So we have a 15-cent move to the Red Sox, and as Jose mentioned, a full run move to the over. Let's see if the cash flow all correlates with that. We have 48% of tickets and 73% of cash on the Boston Red Sox. Total wise, we don't have a cash flow, but we know that 91% of the tickets are on that over. 91% of the tickets. Wow. Austin Gomber, a problem. 4-5, 7.57 ERA, 1.75 WHIP, 16 home runs allowed. 16 home runs allowed in 16 2/3. His last start was at home, 4 innings, 11 hits, 7 earned runs, 3 homers, 1 K, 2 walks in a 9-6 loss. He's been atrocious at home at Coors. He's been better, quite a bit better on the road. So to give you an idea, on the road, 23 1/3, 4.63 ERA, 270 opponent's batting average. He's allowed 4 home runs. At home, the opposition's hitting 346 off of him. He's allowed 12 homers. Garrett Whitlock went head-to-head with Cole last start and pitched better than him. It was unbelievable. He's only thrown 11 2/3 at home, 220 opponents batting average, 3.86 ERA. Rockies are smashing righties since May 1st. Red Sox are smashing lefties since May 1st. Rockies bullpen 4.34 ERA being poor. Red Sox bullpen 4.13. Wow. This is Jack Rosenblatt says first 3 over 2.5 sounds interesting. Let's hear what the Big Ragoo has to say about this spot. Gomber, Whitlock, Rockies, Red Sox.
Yeah, I was thinking about the first 3 over also, but I'm finding a 3.5, not a 2.5. But 2.5, good luck finding that somewhere. But to Jose's point, the wind blowing and Gomer, man, it just, I don't know. I think with the numbers moving up like that, I kind of catch the tail of a rocket here with some of these numbers here. And I don't, six. I'd have to cash a 6 with Boston to get a team total, which I like a lot too. But that was one of my first team totals of the day. Actually, I just added the last one in, but I had team total over Boston lined up for this game here. I figured they hit him early. Gomer should change his name to Bomber because there's going to be bombs lit off today in Fenway. So I don't know. Probably a full game over. It's not a bad look either, but I don't want to chase that full run either. So I don't know. What do you think? I'm going to pass for now. I can't make my mind up because I don't like chasing bad numbers, to be honest with you. But I think Boston wins. Even on the run line, it's a little pricey for my liking here. Even though it's Gomer, I don't want to lay 130 on with a -1.5 also, which is probably the casher. But I'd lean that way. I lean on the run line. Probably the best play for me here.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Gomber is going to be quite as bad as maybe some people believe he will be here. I think those splits are.
You like his splits better on the road with him?
Yeah, I think they're real. I think it's a legit thing here. But I do think that there's a huge pitching advantage for the Boston Red Sox. Let's hear Jose touch on it some more. I know he was thinking about moving on the side. Final decisions, Jose, and you did tweet out that over 9.5?
Under 9.5, yeah. I'm on the under 9.5. Unfortunately, tweeted it out last night.
What was the juice?
-105. So I hope there's no runs, and I hope Gomber's good here. But I don't know. It's just tough to say. The Red Sox offense, like I said, has just been so bad that it's ugly. 93 weighted runs created plus this month against lefties and 88 plate appearances. That's fine, but I don't trust this offense. The weather seems like it's going to help them push the ball out and over the monster. I hope this game doesn't go, so my bets get voided.
Yeah, that's a tough feeling to see it market move that quickly or that big away from you. But
the only reason I feel decently about it is that it's at least weather. I can directly correlate it to weather just howling out in all of these games. So I'm gonna keep betting the unders going forward. But yeah, shitty situation today.
And your expectations of Whitlock tonight?
This is a Red Sox team facing a sweep against the fucking Colorado Rockies. It's bleak times. Mike M put a good stat in here for the teams going on or facing a sweep, I should say. Heavy favorites, previous 2 games facing a sweep are 66-10 non-division and are on a 30-3 run at the moment. So I expect them to pitch well here. If I was making a bet on the Red Sox today, I'd take a team total, probably maybe even a first 5. Well, I wouldn't even probably take a first 5 -1 or something like that. Probably a team total or a full game -1 at hopefully a decent price, but you probably won't get that. So team total, probably the only way I'm betting the Red Sox.
Yeah, that's what I had written down on my dinosaur notes. Team total.
Yeah, props might be good here too, but everyone knows I can't do props. I only hit props apparently once in every fucking 3 years.
All right. Well, I'm not going to chase this market move, but I'll be very interested in it.
I definitely thought about betting the under still at 10.5. I still think that, wind and all, I still think this Red Sox team is just going to continue to struggle at hitting. And who knows what's going to happen today. Maybe, again, they're like, all right, let's elevate some balls. And instead of pounding them all into the dirt, maybe Masataka Yoshida will show up this week. I don't know. But this is just a bleak time in Red Sox baseball. So I still like the under. And I really did think about rebetting it again here at 10.5.
Yeah, that's
but it'll be a killer if I lose both.
It's Noli-esque making a move like that, trusting the cap over the market move. So I'll be curious to see if you do that. Who is your guest today on Say Hey Plays of the Day?
Dabby Cab joins me, and he just makes fun of all my bets, so he probably won't help me very much making this under. So I think it's going to be very interested. Harold, yeah, that's what I was referring to about hitting a player prop once every 3 years. But yeah, I like the under here. And again, I don't have much on this card. Honestly, I feel like I've morphed into Noli these last couple of weeks because I've exclusively just been betting unders. I have 2 unders on one game in the, I guess, like coming up here soon, Royals Reds. But otherwise, I don't really have any plays, so I probably will end up making the double under special here on the Red Sox Rockies. But tune in to Say Hey Plays to find out, as always.
I love it, Jose. I love it. Mike M says heavy favorites previous 2 games facing a sweep are 66-10 non-division and on a 30-3 run at the moment.
Ragoo, you can tell that Jimmy doesn't listen to me because I just said that 2 seconds ago.
That is impressive. All right, let's roll on. Next up for us, Los Angeles Angels at Texas Rangers, Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. Reed Detmers going up against Andrew Heaney. We have 2 lefties on the bump here at Globe Life Field. Let's see what the weather is here in Texas. 92 Fahrenheit, so the roof will be closed for sure. Definite roof closed. Let's take a look at the line history here for these 2 lefties facing off. We have at Penny, Texas opening up at -135, now -130. -135, now -130. So we have a 5-cent move to the Angels. 5-cent move to the Angels. Let's go over to the total here in this one. Sorry, move over. Here we go. Detmers, Heaney. This opened up at 10 at some books. Was also juice to the over. Not at Pinnacle. They opened at 6:14 p.m. with a juice to the under 10, and it went to 9.5. This has been jumping, up to 10, down to 9.5, up to 10. The only really interesting part was at 8:43 a.m. It moved to 9. So this is at 9.5, and then moved again to 9 at 10:25. So this is heavily juiced to the under at 9.5. TJ says 2 days in a row, market had me on the Angels being nice prices. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this part here. 58% of the tickets, 73% of cash on the under. We see it moving briskly towards the under. Total wise, 68% of tickets and 92% of the cash are on the Rangers. 92% of the cash on the Rangers. And we have a 5-cent move to the Angels. Is this going to be 3 days in a row, TJ? Reed Detmer is 1-5, 4.79 ERA, 1.51 WHIP. Last start, 3-1 win at home over the Cubs. 5 2/3, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 8 Ks, 2 walks. He looked good. You know, historically, I mean, we saw him throw the no-hitter at home in his rookie season. He has been better at home. On the road, he's thrown 25 in the third, yet to win a game, 4.97 ERA, 265 opponent's batting average. Heaney on the other side, 4-4, 4.14 ERA, 1.25 WHIP. In his last start, 5 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 5 Ks, 2 walks, and 8-3 win at the Rays. At home, he's been awful. 5.67 ERA, 262 opponent's batting average. He's been struggling. Now, the Rangers destroy lefties. There's no getting around it. 308 batting average, 852 OPS. Since May 1st, Angels 257-34. Angels bullpen has been so much better than the Rangers bullpen. I mean, that's their biggest advantage. Let's see what One Time SA says. How can anyone bet the Rangers here? Angels have the better starter and lineup, and it looks like they want it more right now. Piker says Heaney has been shit at home. Market not supporting the Rangers, only betting the Rangers in this only betting Rangers spot, so he is off. TJ says Halos have not had even a shot in the playoffs in years. These guys want to get there and actually are playing inspired. Rocco said being on the Angels too, playing well, but this lineup projects to hit Detmer's hard. He likes Texas, but just first 5, both bullpens tanked. Let's hear what Ragoo has to say about this spot, Angels, Rangers.
Yeah. The Rangers both teams are streaking a bunch here. You got the Rangers, they've lost 5 out of 6, 6 out of 7, whatever the number is. They beat the Rays that one game in the middle, and they've lost 4 in a row. Now you got the Angels are red hot, man. They've won 9 out of 10, 8 out of 9, whatever the number is. So basically, the market's telling you with these pitchers here, Heaney and Detmer's, even though Detmer's numbers don't look as good as Haney's or equal to, but his record isn't as good. They're thinking the way the Angels are playing right now that they're definitely trending in the right direction. I think the offense is picking things up. They're getting decent pitching. I think both pitchers will probably throw a decent game here. It makes sense. We'll probably see a 5-4, 4-3 type game possibly. That's the way I look at this. Like you said, there's no denying that the Rangers smash lefties, but the Angels, they do a pretty decent job. They're a top third team. They're not top 10, but a top third, so they could hit, and they're hitting well right now. So, I mean, I pass on this one. I like betting streaks, into streaks, against streaks, and both teams are streaking. I mean, on paper, this tells me to play the Angels with the market moves. You're saying 90-something% of the cash is on the Rangers, but yet there's no move towards them, and a slight move towards the Angels. So the market's putting you back onto the Angels here, and I think it's because of the recent streak. But I look for both pitchers to kind of get a better effort, and I lean under here. I'll look at the first 3 under in this spot.
That's an interesting way of handling this. This one is wild. Yeah, everything's telling you to bet the Angels here, and I can understand people expecting these pitchers to get touched, but the market moving towards the under. I guess in the end, I'm going to just not want to be involved in it.
Yeah, I'm going to be off it, but I would look at the first 3 under. You probably get that about a 3.5, 3.
Let me see what it is here. I just went back to what my Astros to win the division is -120. It's actually 5 cents worse than what I bet it at. I think they're very live for it. Let's see what it is here for if anybody wanted to move on this first 3 under. First three is, well, they've got it at 2.5 at +125, but I could tell you what it is at. If you want, there's options here. We could build a 3. The under 3.5 is -175.
Ooh, that's too pricey.
Yeah, but if we wanted to Instead,
What is the 3?
build one. What the hell is my? Wow. I'm gonna have to pull it back up. Sorry, it's gonna take me a second, but I can hammer it here quickly. If I was to, sorry, I'm gonna have to pull this up. So this will take me a second to pull up my -1 calculator. I don't know why it's not here. Let's go to get it up here. But it would be probably a decent price. And here we go. Okay, the run line calculator. Let's go. American risk 200. And we have minus 175 plus 125 would give you under 3 at minus 122.
Yeah. I'm going to pass.
All right. LJ from H says over 9.5 is the play last 23 answers. He seems total is 20-3 to the over. Jack Rosenblatt saying Angels trend to the Yurfie. Mike M saying this is a great game, the same game parlay. Said there should be runs all over the place. Yeah, if the market wasn't moving so quickly to the under, I'm sure that
that game has the same look as the Jays and O's game right there.
And I still haven't bet this Twins Brewers first 5 under. I expect to move on it here shortly. So I told you how Bet Chris had it all the way to minus 126, minus 128 it's down to minus 120. Sports Interaction still hasn't changed it from minus 101. So the market's still all over the place. Let's move on for us. Next up for us is 8:05 p.m. Get this up here. Now it's gone. I don't know where these things are going. Oh, no, I have it here. Okay, beautiful. Let's get to work here. I thought this was going to be my dream pitching matchup. I thought this was going to be Dick Mountain versus Drew Smiley. It is not Dick Mountain. Osvaldo Bido. Let me see how to pronounce it. Sorry, let me just this 27-year-old here. Are you going to give me any information on how? They're not going to give me information on how to pronounce it. Bido. I'm guessing it's Bido. Osvaldo Bido, 27-year-old from the Dominican Republic. In 2022-23, he played in the Dominican Winter League, which I have to get to. I talked to my wife about it. It's a must bucket list trip to go down and watch baseball down there. He was excellent in the Dominican Winter League. No, he was coming off. Actually, no, he was starting too. I mean, he wasn't pitching many innings, but he was 2.53 ERA, 1.22 WHIP. That year, last year in AAA, he was average. I guess a little poor. 4.53 ERA, 1.50 WHIP. This year in AAA, he has almost those exact same numbers. The only advantage is people really don't know what he's got. I mean, that's about it. They don't know what he's got. But I don't trust him. I do think that, being an unknown factor may help him a little bit here. But he's going up against Drew Smiley, and, I'm very high on Smiley this year. 5-4, 3.27 ERA, 1.16 WHIP, 71 2/3, 61 Ks, 20 walks, 8 home runs allowed. In his last start, 6 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 4 Ks, 3 walks, and a 3-1 loss at the Angels. At home, he has been very good. 2-1. He's thrown 30 2/3, 2-1, 3.52 ERA, 33 Ks, 9 walks. He's allowed just 2 homers in those 30 2/3, and opponents are batting 189 against him. Kelly McInnes looking at the Pittsburgh Pirates Cubs under 9. There's picks from Dave in the house. Great to see you, Dave. So Pirates aren't hitting lefties since May 1st, 246, 691 OPS. Cubs were even worse against righties in that span, 215, 647. And then both bullpens have been bad since May 1st. Pirates bullpen ERA 4.74, Cubs at 5.17. Curtis Berry also looking at the under here. So let's take a look at the weather first at Wrigley, and then we'll look at the market moves, and then we'll hand it over to the Big Ragoo. First off, weather-wise at Wrigley, 64 Fahrenheit, 6.6 miles per hour right to left, stays between 6 and 6.6. Let's then take a look at what Ballpark Pal thinks of the spot here at Wrigley. And as I said earlier, this is the worst spot for runs on the board. Minus 8% home run, minus 6% doubles and triples, minus 9% singles, and overall minus 13% runs here. So let's go over to the line history in this one and see what we are dealing with. Get this up here. And Move this over here. Okay, here we go. So for Wrigley Field and the Cubbies, we have a big move still to the Pittsburgh Pirates. I mean, it's just this nonstop movement to the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's just wild. So they're obviously expecting the Cubs' anemic offense to continue with this unknown entity. That's just wild. Absolutely wild. So we have a huge move. I mean, huge 27-cent move to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Then from a total standpoint, I wouldn't mind starting with the first 5 just because I'm very interested in it. We have this first 5 here. We've had a 1-cent move to the under on the first 5, very little. So let's see what the full game is. Here we go. Full game on the total. So I have to refresh this. Here we go. Full game on the total. This has been moving towards the under. I'm surprised that the first 5 is not that much, but this is a 10-cent move towards the under. It's a big move. Okay, so we have a 10-cent move to the under and a huge move to the Pirates. We'll pull up the cash flow and see what they're telling us. 57% of the tickets and 93% of the cash on the Pittsburgh Pirates. That's just wild. 85% of the tickets, 91% of the cash on the under. You know, if 91% of cash is on the under, well, why is there be no movement on the under 5 at all? And why would there be just 10 cents of movement on the full game under? It doesn't work for me enough. Take it away for us, Ragoo, Pirates Cubs.
Interesting game, right? For sure. My focus on this cap was because of the change, not so much Beto, but you know, with Smiley's history with the Pirates, it's been decent. You know, not bad numbers, but some of these guys in the lineup have touched Smiley up. Sawinski, he's a pleasure to watch this kid, right? He's a hometown boy from Chicago. He's been lighting it up every time he plays there. He has games. He hits ball long. He gets extra bases, and this is this is probably the only prop I'm going to play today. I'm going to take Zawinski to hit a home run today, 550 plus 550 in this game here. And then I was looking for bases for him. I was just as you were talking, I was looking at a base prop for him also. So I haven't got there yet, but I will. But anyways, the cap for me here is the matchup with Smiley versus the Pirates. These kids, they can hit. I think we get extra bases here with Zawinski. I think he has a game today. I really do. I'm not going to mess with the total. First, I was looking at a team total for the Pirates. I thought, not so much. But then I said, well, maybe the under, like you were saying, I was leaning that way first, and I couldn't make up my mind. So I said, you know what, this game I might just get involved in the player prop with Zawinski because he seems to shine up against every time he plays in Chicago. He has a game and a half. So I think I got hits over a half a hit for him is minus 130 and a home run at plus 550 for Jack Zawinski. That's my play for this game.
So the homer is plus 550?
Yeah, plus 550 and a minus 130. So if I split, you know, I'll be even up on units, but if it's a dinger, then I'll cash out big.
Oh, so the hit is minus 130.
Yeah, the hit, right. Over half a base.
Okay.
Or half a hit, should I say.
And Jack Rosemont looking at 2 or more at plus 230, but I like it. This makes sense. Sawinski player props for Ragoo. I'm gonna have to stay off this game. I'm gonna have to stay off this spot. All right, let's roll on. I have made 4 bets before I came here, and they're coming up. So, you know, I know I'm kind of hesitant. I still haven't moved on that first 5 under 4.5, but I'm getting closer. And that's the Twins Brewers. All right, let's go 8:10 p.m. Eastern. Cincinnati Reds 33-35, 16-17 on the road at the Kansas City Royals, 18-49, 9-25 at home, Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. Let's take a look at the weather here in KC. Get this up here and roll. So weather-wise in Kansas City, we have take me a second. Here we go. 78 Fahrenheit, 7.3 miles per hour to left field. Goes from 7.3 down to 6.5 miles per hour. We have minus 10% home runs, but plus 11% singles and plus 2% runs. So this is one of the 5 ballparks actually has plus percentage beside it. You have Ben Lively going up against Daniel Lynch. You know, I believed in Daniel Lynch first round pick, late first round pick. I think like 34th or 35th overall. I think it was back in like 2019, but he's disappointed me in his career. I still believe in him. 6'6" lefty. I've always thought those, lefties were dangerous. And let's take a look at what we are dealing with here. Reds, Royals. First off, with the total, this. Oh shoot, that's not even Pinnacle. Sorry, let me move over here. I gotta get Pinnacle up here. We don't want to hear any other books information. Here we go. We have a penny. This opened up at 9, but it was heavily juiced to the over, and it only lasted for 9 minutes before it went to 9.5. Then it went back to 9. It was back at 9 at 1:30 in the morning. It lasted there for 5.5 hours before it got to 9.5, which is where it is right now. 9.5 juice to the under. So let's take a look at the money line here for this Royals spot. Lively, Lynch. We have the Royals opening up at plus 100. The Royals got to minus 104. They're right back at that plus 100. So no movement here. Now, the question is, has Ben Lively been figured out? Had good numbers in Asia. He's come back. He looked good at first. And then he got lit up and smoked by the Cards in St. Louis. I guess both pitchers are question marks, but I liked what Daniel Lynch did in his last start. 6 innings, 3 earned runs in a 3-2 loss at the Orioles. Now, the Orioles aren't smashing lefties right now, but we know that their offense is tough. Reds versus lefties, 283, 776 OPS since May 1st. Royals versus righties, 233, 713. And the Reds also have the advantage in the bullpen. This is a tricky one. We have 36% of the tickets and 47% of the cash on the under. And then on the money line, we have 25% of the tickets and 78% of cash on the Royals. I guess this tells me to trust Lively's tough start on the road and to back Daniel Lynch. But that takes balls to back the Royals. And, stakes are high. And I don't know if I can bet on this shit baseball team. Take it away, Ragoo. Reds, Royals.
Well said there. Well said. I mean, I gotta like the way the Reds have been playing a little more aggressively of late. I made one of my 4 losses in the 3 days was the Reds. Yes, yesterday on the run line, which I lost. They won. I've lost more 1-run games on one. I'd rather lose fucking 5-0 than lose 5-4. You know what I mean? So, anyways. Well, when I win, I'd rather lose a game than lose a run line by one run all the time. It seems like when you lose those fuckers. But I'm gonna come back to him here. I mean, I don't trust Lynch. I like lefties. I'm a southpaw myself. But and Lively's numbers, are they fantastic? No, but I like the bats. I like the bats of the Reds versus the lefties. I think Lynch is hittable. I think they're better hustle on the base pass, better well-rounded ball club here. And I think they're playing good baseball right now, the Reds. So I think they get to Lynch a little bit. I'm not worried about a total here, but I think they win by margin. I'm going to come back to that play. I had it yesterday, capped that way. It kind of bit me in the ass with the 1-1 win. I think today they get the margin victory. So I think they continue the streak. They move forward, and they get on to the next series for Thursday. Move to the next town and start playing, open another series up. So I think the Reds on the go-out game, they get the cover here. 1.5 runs, Cincinnati Reds, plus 140.
All right, let's lock it in for Ragoo. I do want to just look at a couple more things in this game here, but Reds minus 1.5 at plus 140 for Ragoo. What the hell has Ben Lively going to give us? He's now had 2 starts in a row in the division where he's looked bad. He's allowed 12 earned runs now in his last 13 2/3. And I wonder if maybe the book is out on him. The problem is, do you really want to back the Royals against the way the Reds are hitting lefties? Piker says Royals the sharpest look on the slate, and I can't bet it either. Who's in a rush to fade the Reds right now? I feel like I have an advantage with Lynch over Lively, and I think that Lively's issues over the last 2 starts are real. I think that he was just an unknown entity, and that helped him. And now Book is out on him, and he's more vulnerable. I just like to see what it would take, what it would cost me to back them first three, and it would be minus 120 to back the Royals first three. And I tell you, I'm just not going to. There cannot be juice involved when you back a baseball team that's 31 games under 500. But I'm interested in them. I really am. But Rocco Rogers is on Lively over 4.5 K, says his price is wrong and will change. I'm going to leave the Royals first three as I can't do it with minus 120. What am I talking about? Let's just stop this. The implied probability just doesn't make sense for me. Okay, Ragoo is on the Reds minus 1.5 and plus 140. Let's move on. And look at that. Joe Yerby says Lively giving up the long ball, 8 home runs, allowed in 5 starts. Don't get me closer. Don't get me closer to betting it because I will.
Hey, it's the Royals.
I know, but I think Lively is really legit vulnerable.
Yeah, you're right.
Curtis Berry says I can see first 5, but that's it. And then TJ says who can hit the long ball for KC. Okay, I you know what? I'm going to leave just the question mark here so I can keep looking at it. Royals first 3, and then but minus 120. God, it's a lot of vig. All right, let's move on a spot that I did bet. This is an implied probability spot for me that I couldn't pass up. You ask yourself if you made this bet, 100 times, at what point, what rate would you hit at? And for this spot here, maybe I'm wrong here with Josiah Gray, but we know what he does on the road. We know what he just did at Atlanta against a very tough lineup. And look, Framber Valdez is very good. I mean, he's not looked quite as strong, the Jays got to him. But we know that, and I faded Valdez in that start. That was Valdez Berrios, and we got the cash there. I just thought for the first 3 innings at plus 180 that there was more of a. I know that the option, the push in this spot is huge, and I thought something was telling here. The first 3 money line was plus 80. The first 3 plus a half was minus 120. That's $1 difference, and I know that we're talking first 3s, but.
Yeah.
I think there is a possibility that Josiah Gray looks good early in this game. And so I moved on the first 3 at plus 180. And I moved on the first 5 plus a half at plus 120. So I moved on plus lines, and I got another plus line in the next game. But I'm in here. So roof's going to be closed in Houston for this one. Let's start with the total in this one. It is low. This opened up at 8, and it lasted at 8 for 10 minutes before it went to 7.5. So that's where we are right now. It's minus 114 to the over. There's been a 5-cent move to the over in the last couple hours, but it's over 7.5 minus 114. So we have a move to the under. Then money line here with this spot. We have the Astros opening up at minus 239. They're now at minus 240. So I'd seen that. This line opened up minus 239. I've been looking at this game for a long time. This line opened up at 6:20 p.m. at minus 239. There was 12 cents of movement towards the Astros till 1:30 in the morning. And then at 2 in the morning, there was a 15-cent move to the Kansas City Royals. And we pretty much just stuck around there. So there's been a 1-cent move to the Royals. So we have a move to the under and a move to the Royals. Wow, that first 5 plus a half is at plus 135 at BetOnline. Jesus. I guess I got so caught up in just, I don't like seeing that. Let me just go over. Oh, that bothers me enormously. Okay, I'm going to let that go. BetOnline's been giving really good numbers on the first 5 plus a half. It's better than Bet365. And I'll be in all honesty, I don't remember. I was so caught up in the first 3, which BetOnline doesn't offer, that I don't even know if I looked at what it was at BetOnline first 5 plus a half. That's very bothersome. Also, don't forget, we on our website, pubsportsradio.com, we have all of the books that we have deals with, and we have a great deal. If you're opening up a new account at BetOnline, they'll match you up to 100%, up to $1,000. So you're not going to get that. If you just go to the site, they'll offer you 50%, and it's not up to 1,000. Okay, so let's go over to the cash flow here in this one. You have 13% of the tickets and 61% of the cash on the Washington Nationals. That's a big deal to me. Then on the total, you have 50% of the tickets and 98% of the cash on the over. Does that mean that Josiah Gray is vulnerable? If there's 98% of the cash on the over, why on earth could it possibly have moved to 7.5 from 8? Josiah Gray last start, as I said, against Atlanta was good. On the road, 2.36 ERA, 237 opponents batting average. That's over 45 2/3. Framber Valdez is very good at home. Look, he's not. I'm not picking on Valdez. I just think that Josiah Gray gives me a chance at a big plus line to score. And what have the Nats been doing against lefties? They've been raking since May 1st, 294 with an 816 OPS. Astros versus righties, 240 with no power, 708 OPS. Now Nats bullpen is trash, but I'm just first 3 and first 5. Take it away for us, Big Ragoo, Nats, Astros.
Yeah, both pitchers in my book. I mean, we're talking about that as supposed to be the ace early on, right? I think he's having a few issues here and there, but I think his ERA is pretty good, overall. He's just having some hard luck. Gray, same thing. Gray's better on the road. I think if you like Gray, you got to like the under, right? If you like the plus half a run, you got to be thinking first 5 under. And to me, this is my best under play of the day, first 5. I think both pitchers are going to come out with a good effort here and keep it real, real tight. And that plus half a run looks pretty good too. But I'm not going to do that. I'm definitely going to be on the first 5 under. I already made this play early morning, wee hours of the morning. Took the first 5 under 4 at -110 here. I think both pitchers to your liking. Like you said, Gray will be better on the road. I think Valdez will hold them down, even though, like you said, they are smashing lefties. I think at home, Houston is a different ball club in Minute Maid Park over there. So I think Valdez will hold them down early. I think we see under 4 runs in the first 5 here. I think we'll see maybe like 2-0, 2-1, something like that, possibly. But no big crooked numbers here in the first 5. I think both pitchers will hold them down. I've been saying, with Houston's lineup, with all the injuries they've had, they still are not. They're still producing runs. They still can win ball games, still getting a job done on the mound. So championship caliber team. They're hitting their bumps. The Rangers are going to hit their bumps. Rays hitting their bumps. They hit their bumps early and throughout most of the season, but they'll still be able to hold it down. They'll get their share of W's. And I don't know if they get a W here, but I like the first 5 under here.
You got it. This first 5 under 4 opened up at Pinnacle at plus 104. It's now at plus 101. It is the best line available. We're good on the first 5.
Because I don't have that book available to me, unfortunately. But.
Yeah, it's a beauty. It's a absolute beauty. First 5 under 4 at plus 101 for Nats. Astros, and I'm on the first 3 plus 180, and the first 5 plus half and plus 120.
That correlates. Your plus half a run and the under correlate beautifully together.
Yeah, well, 98% of the cash, and it's dropped a half run. I mean, come on, it makes me think. I'm where I kind of want to be here in investment wise, but I completely, maybe I should just. I like your look. 98% of cash on the over, and in the face of it, it just makes so much sense to me. There's been another 5-cent move towards Lorenzen in Game 2 before the start of the first one. That's interesting. The double dip that we were been talking about. I would just like to see what's happened on these on the first 5 plus a half and my first 3 here. First off, the first 3 is still at plus 180. The alternative line is still plus half a minus 120. I did not want, again, I'm starting to like that Royals first 3. But again, when you're taking these shit ball clubs, you just don't want to have any juice. And that's why I always say, when people take like hockey teams or baseball teams at +1.5, and I get it on a same game parlay or something like that, but I cannot turn a favorite into a dog. It just like I can't do it. The first 5 +0.5, still at +120, so there's been no movement there. Lucas Ryan on Gray under 17.5 outs. Yeah, I mean, can he get into the 7th inning? I can understand. I don't need him to do that, but I get it. All right, let's move on to 9:40 p.m. Eastern. Miami Marlins at Seattle Mariners at T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Washington. One of the problems that I have as a baseball capper is I love the sport, and I love the sport so much, and I romanticize it, and it gets in the way of betting. I thought that when Verlander went up against Strider, that Verlander, would relish the opportunity to show the young buck, who was the man. And I was very lucky to catch the first 3 +0.5 and the first 5 +0.5 because I was wrong, very wrong. And I have a tendency to do that. And it's only in baseball. No other sport do I sit. Maybe in horse racing. In horse racing, I do it too. But those are the only sports that I do that with. And here you have the best, for my money, the best Dominican pitcher in the league going up against the superstar Dominican pitcher of the future. And all of the Dominican Republic is going to be watching this baseball game. And it is impossible for me to not think that Yuri Perez and Luis Castillo care about this matchup. I know that they care. I know that Yuri Perez so badly wants to show Castillo what he can do. And I know that Castillo wants to show everybody that he's the best Dominican pitcher in the league. So I think they're going to be spectacular tonight. And maybe this is my own romantical bullshit that shouldn't be trusted. That's up for you guys to decide when you cap this game. I'm on the first 3 under 1.5 at +125. And I'm on the first 5 under 3.5 at -110. Let's get into the situation so you guys can make whatever decisions you want with the information that is out there. First off, we'll do the weather here. 61 Fahrenheit, 6.9 miles per hour out to right field. The roof will be open. Then we have here at Ballpark Pal, their thoughts on T-Mobile: -10% in home runs, -4% in doubles and triples, -6% in singles, and -10% in runs. Then we'll go over to the line history here in this spot. First off, I've got the first 5 up, and that's what I'm betting here. So why don't we start there? There has been very little movement on this one. Very little movement. The first, the over 3.5 though, opened up heavily juiced to the over, heavily -121 at 6:20 p.m. yesterday. It's just been a move towards the under nonstop the whole time. And now we have the under 3.5 -104 from that +106 opener. So we have 10 cents. Now it's been slow, but it's a 10-cent move towards the under 3.5 at Pinnacle. Let's go over to the full game here on the total side of things. Here we go. Okay, so we have Perez. Oh, shit. Did not move. Okay, let me just refresh. We'll get this up here right away. And here we go. We have this opening up at 7 at -105 to the under. And actually, sorry, this opened at -110 either side. The immediate move was towards the over. Now it's towards the under. And this has, even in the last couple hours, moved to the under. There's been a huge move at Pinnacle. There's been 20 cents of movement just from 7:52 a.m. to 9:25 a.m. on the under. Right now, there's been a 5-cent move overall. So we have a 5-cent move to the under. And on the money line here in this one, we have the Mariners opening up at -176. They're now -174. So we have a 2-cent move to the Marlins. And let's take a look at the cash flow here. And for the cash, we don't know. All we know is 75% of tickets are on the under. They're not giving us any more information, at the Action Network. And we know that 25% of tickets and 46% of cash is on the Marlins. It feels like the Marlins is sharp money. Perez coming off a 2-1 loss at the White Sox, 5 innings, 1 earned run. It was a solo shot, 6 Ks and 2 walks. 30 Ks in 29 innings, 2.17 ERA, 1.21 WHIP. Luis Castillo coming off 2 tough road starts, one in Houston and one in Anaheim. The Anaheim was a 5-4 loss at the Angels. I like Castillo off a bad start. 5 runs, 3 of which were earned. We knew the market was going hammering the over in that Ohtani Castillo start. At home, this guy's been absolutely electric. 47 2/3, 1.89 ERA, 61 strikeouts, 9 walks, 2 home runs allowed in 47 2/3. Opponents hitting 175 off him. I don't need to worry about these two offenses. Marlins hit with average, 251 against righties since May 1st, but no power, 706 OPS. Mariners, 227, 706. Both bullpens are not even in my equation. I'm on the first 3 under 1.5 plus 125, first 5 under 3.5 minus 110. I can't wait to watch these spectacular pitchers go head to head. Take it away for us, Ragoo, Marlins, Mariners.
Yeah, you have to find some kind of value with the dog in this spot in my book. You know what I mean? Just based on how the game sets up pitching wise, and the Marlins numbers are a little bit better versus the righties OPS. But then again, we get 2 spectacular pitchers here too, so those numbers might even be skewed just a little bit more tonight. But we are looking at a sweep. Castillo's been lights out against the Marlins in his career. I think he's like 5-0. And I had some question marks for Shoemaker when he got there. With the Marlins, what he was doing with the lineup, and evidently he's done a pretty decent job with the squad all season long. So shout out to Shoemaker, what he's accomplished in a what I consider a pretty good turnaround for the Marlins, and young talented to have here. But tonight, like you said, on showcase with both these Dominican pitchers, it should be a good one. I was leaning towards the first five under, which I didn't put myself on right away. At first, I was looking at full game with the Marlins as far as taking the dog price with them, the way the game sets up. But looking back, I went back and looked at the first 5, and we're looking at with a half a run with the Marlins. I get plus a half at minus 110. I think full game, it's what is it, plus 1 with the 1.5 runs. I get where's my first 5? Do me a favor, pull me up the full game run line on that if you could. What is it?
Let's grab it for you. The full game run line for the I think that first 5. If I'm expecting a pitcher's duel, why wouldn't it be 1-1?
Yeah, well, I'm just saying though, if you look at the first 3 like you're on, to get the half run, you got to lay 145 with the Marlins.
Yeah, it's too much.
So you're telling me I can go an extra, 2 innings was a big number, but I get plus a half run at minus 110. So
the full game you can get minus 137.
Yeah, so basically it's the same. It's pretty close. Full game of first 3 or comparable, but first 5 it's 110. So to me, that's the value there with Perez. So that's the look I'm on. I'm going to take the Marlins in the first 5 plus a half run at minus 110.
All right. Ragoo's on the Marlins first 5 plus a half.
And this will be the first time that, Perez is going to see these guys, or they're going to see him too. So
I can get you plus money. Did you say minus 110?
Yeah.
Okay, I can get you plus money. Bet Chris is plus 102, but I think I can beat that at Pinnacle. Let's go over there right now. So over at Pinnacle, I can't wait for this baseball game. This is going to be so much fun. First 5. Here we go, plus a half. Okay, Bet Chris is the best because minus 103 at Pinnacle. Plus 102, first 5, plus half. There's DX Filer in the house. And here we go. The ribeye play of the day. Altuve RBI plus 240. The ribeye play of the day, 6-1 plus 9.65 units.
Wow. Who's the ribeye play today?
That is from Mike M.
Mikey M.
Yeah.
He's got to start patenting his names.
Yeah. I love Ripeye play today. Yeah. All right. That's copied and pasted. Thank you. So we got Ragoo's action in here. I just if Castillo is spectacular and Perez, I don't want to mess with it. What I've got here, but I would add your action here, absolutely, and I'll just cheer it on. There's our guy Fat Wally. Now it's without Wally, but I'm going to leave my action here the way it is. So I'm on the first 3 under 1.5 and plus 125. First 5 under 3.5 minus 110. Ragoo's on the first 5 plus a half, and I have bet Minnesota Milwaukee first 5 under 4.5 and minus 110. I'll tweet it out here shortly, but I am in with Ragoo on that. Okay, let's move on. So those are the only 4 bets that I'd made before the show. That is I'm starting to think to actually really move on the Royals first 3, even though it's minus 120. But yes, I'm on the first 3 Nationals at plus 180, the first 5 Nationals plus a half at plus 120. I'm on the first 3 under 1.5 at plus 125 in Marlins Mariners, and the first 5 under 3.5 at minus 110. And Ragoo is on the Marlins first 5 plus a half at plus 102. All right, we move on to the Philadelphia Phillies at Arizona Diamondbacks. Phillies Diamondbacks, and we not only have the Stacks play today here, but we have BJ's MLB best bet. So Stacks play today is on Diamondbacks team total over 4.5. The MLB best bet from BJ is the Diamondbacks money line. Ranger Suarez versus Merrill Kelly. And, when we talked about the 354 BABIP for Zach Wheeler on the road, I mean, I don't know why I didn't say, okay, look, he's just being unlucky. He's allowed 2 home runs on the road. He has 42 strikeouts, 5 walks. He's just been unlucky. I don't know why I didn't come to that conclusion. I mean, I said it. I guess I can't. It's not coming to the conclusion unless you be a man and bet it. All right. Philadelphia Phillies 33 and 34, 14 and 23 on the road to Arizona Diamondbacks, 41 and 26, 21 and 15 at home at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. They've already told us, we've already seen that the roof is closed, but they have changed these things at times, and if to give out wrong information would just crush me. It's still closed today and tomorrow. Roof is closed in Arizona. Let's go over to the line history then for this spot. Phillies, Rangers. Let's go back to money lines and full game. Here we go. So we have, in this one, we have Arizona Diamondbacks at Pinnacle, opening up at minus 125. They're now minus 132, 7 cents of movement over to them. But there had been no movement, none, 0. It actually moved like slightly towards Philly until 33 minutes ago. And that's important. So now there's movement to Arizona, but there wasn't until 33 minutes ago. But there is movement, 7 cents of movement. Let's go to the total here in this Suarez-Kelly spot. So I get back to Pinnacle. Here we go. This opened up at 9, and it lasted there for an hour and 26 minutes before it moved to 8.5. Right now, that 8.5 started at plus 105, and there's just been a constant move to the under. The 8.5 had gone from plus 105 to minus 111. There's been buyback on the over. It's now at minus 103. But we have movement to the under and a very slight move on Arizona. TJ said, you said it and got me on Philadelphia. Well, that makes me happy. That makes me less angry. I mean, it takes a little bit of the anger off, but I can't tell you it makes me happy because I was livid watching it all unfold. And I feel the anger still seething under the skin. Let's go into the cash flow for this spot here. We have 69% of the ticket, 67% of cash on the over. We've seen that move from 9 to 8.5. That makes me think that the under is quite live. For the money line, we have 76% of tickets and 89% of cash on Arizona. That tells me that I don't want Arizona because we know that the public has moved here on the Diamondbacks just late It wasn't sharp money that moved it. Suarez is coming off a very good start against the Dodgers, who are hitting lefties very hard. 1 earned run over 6 innings, 8 Ks. I know he's been bad this year, but I'm in his bad play. It's probably a BABIP situation. I should even look at that up again because he's only allowed 2 home runs in 30 2/3. On the road, he's 3.06 ERA, but a 2.99 opponent's batting average. I mean, that doesn't really make sense. Merrill Kelly here has looked a little more vulnerable of late. He has these strange splits where he's been a little bit worse at home than he's been on the road. 3.56 ERA at home, 20 walks, 43 innings. That's not like him. Opponents are only hitting 184 against him. Phillies versus righties, 261, 742 OPS. Diamondbacks are hitting lefties hard, 271, 797 OPS. Both bullpens are, mediocre since May 1st, maybe a little worse than mediocre. Let's hear what Ragoo has to say. Take it away, Phillies, Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I like the fact that Suarez had that nice game against the Dodgers last out. Like you said, I think his numbers will be better today. Kelly has had decent numbers against the Phils in his couple starts. Maybe, like you said, a little vulnerability there, but still solid. Just the lefty matchup for the D-backs. Where they hit him pretty good. Yeah, they do. I agree, but I think Suarez is. I think he comes back to the mean here with this game here. And there's a lot of public money, like you said, behind the D-backs here. So that's a spot I don't want to be on. And usually what Philly do, if they smash, they come back and have a little bit of a softer game next out. They've been doing that a lot. I think Kelly's up to the task. I think Suarez is up to the task here. And I love this full game under spot here. This is one I hit earlier on. Whatever best number you get me for the show, I see you got 8.5 hanging there. That's what I had earlier on, but whatever you get me on the juice side of things, I'll be in love with that for sure. But I think both pitchers have a good start here. But I think full game wise, I know Philly's bullpen could be a little squirrely at times, but I think the runs they're not going to come in bunches today. I think both guys get about 5. I know Suarez will get about 5 or 6. I think Kelly probably get 7, maybe 8 if they let him go. So I think it's an under game.
Yeah, I think that you were right. I would prefer to focus on the starters, but I mean, 69% of the tickets, 67% of cash on the over here, and we've seen it drop the half run. Yeah. I would like to get involved in it as well. Let's line shop for you here on this full game. So you are going to have a choice on the 8.5 and 9. Let's just go ahead and offer it to you here. See what the difference in the juice is. We have. Sorry, take a second. Okay, we have the under 8.5. Wow, it just moved. Was minus 103, now minus 106. Oh, and the under 9's expensive. So I can get you better than minus 106, though. That just moved as we were talking about it. I believe I can get you better. Yeah, we're minus 105 at Will Hill, minus 104 at Sports Interaction. It says it's minus 103 at Pinnacle, but it's not. So we'll give you the minus 104. Under 8.5, minus 104. Joe Yerger says home road splits are pointing me towards Arizona. That's interesting. Let me just see, because I have the home road splits. Wow, that's interesting. I mean, Merrill Kelly's been worse at home than he's been on the road this year. And Suarez has been much better on the road than he's been at home. But as long as you get paid, then get that cash. Okay, so under 8.5 at minus 104 for Ragoo. I'm going to move on the first 5 under. So Ragoo's on the under 8.5, minus 104. And I'm going to move on the first 5 under for me. Okay, let's keep. Yes. Oh, no. That it just moved on Pinnacle's site. On Pinnacle's site. So yeah, just so it was showing. So yeah, you're right. A couple minutes, obviously, for the site I used to chart line movement, but I saw it move on the site. There's Atlanta Wake and Bake in the house. What up, Atlanta Wake and Bake? Okay, So let's
And
roll.
Jimmy, here's a note. Every time Philly scored double digits, they've scored 3 runs exactly the next game. That's been like 4 times.
Yeah, I still think they're a good baseball team. I just am not entirely sure when the record will show that. But I've seen them at time like that series against the Astros earlier in the year. I was like, these guys are way better than their numbers indicate. Okay, I'm just tweeting this out now, but the bet is in Oddsville now at bet. Okay, so I am on the first 5 under with Ragoo here in Milwaukee, Minnesota. Okay, good. That's out. So everyone, it exists out there. Okay, let's move on. Next up for us, 9:40 p.m. Eastern, Tampa Bay Rays at Oakland Athletics. I forget there was a capper in the chat, and I almost went back to look, but I was, it takes so long to cap these games. There was a capper who was, the bullish on the A's yesterday, and I'm so happy he was richly rewarded there. Let's talk about the spot, Oakland Coliseum, Oakland, California. So they had 27,000 fans who were very into the game last night, and now they're going to go back to having just a few thousand, probably less. But Rays, A's at Oakland Coliseum. We'll start with the weather here in Oakland, 63 Fahrenheit, 10.2 miles per hour to right, down to 7.5 miles per hour. Let's see what Ballpark Pal thinks of Oakland Coliseum here. Minus 13% home runs, minus 10% runs. And let's go over to the cash flow here for this one. This is sorry, what the hell's wrong with me? Let's get this up. Tampa, Oakland, and it's been another move as we've seen of late. Actually, no movement at all. No movement on the money line. And then from the total perspective, we see that this one opened up at 8.5, juice to the under. Oops, that's Sports Interaction. Let me move over to Pinnacle. My fault. Here we go. We see a move to the under. And Pinnacle has moved it to 8. When did Pinnacle move this to 8? They did 4 minutes ago. So 4 minutes ago, Pinnacle is, and this was under 8.5 minus 107. This wasn't even an under 8.5 that was juiced. Wow. So we can imagine the other books will take notice here very, very soon. DX Filer says Glasnow over 8.5 Ks, very high, but still attempting. Mike M says road non-divisional favorites with a starter off a win last time and lost the previous meeting are 35-0 straight up if they were the favorites last game. So that is here with this Rays game. Road non-divisional favorites with a starter off a win last start. That's Glasnow. And lost the previous meeting are 35-0 straight up. Okay, let's take a look at the cash flow here. The Sharps starting to make their money back on the Oakland A's. Sorry, let's see what they are right now. On the under, 26% of tickets and 98% of cash is on the under. Wow. On the money line here, because it's going to be a sleepy game after all that excitement yesterday. 15% of tickets, 48% of cash is on Oakland. So big bets coming in on Oakland. Look, Glasnow is lights out. The question is, can Luis Medina be better? He's coming off his first good start at the Brewers, 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 6 Ks, 3 walks. He's been bad at home, but not as bad really as his overall numbers. 5.71 ERA, 231 opponents batting average. Rays aren't hitting righties since May 1st, and either are the A's. Both bullpens are bad. Maybe we should think about the first 5, not the full game. Let's hear what Ragoo has to say about his Tampa Bay Rays in Oakland.
When Oakland starts picking off opponents, it's at home at big prices, and then like you said, some of the Sharps made their money back with this squad here, and that's what happens in the Rays. They're hitting that lull, just like the Rangers are a little bit right now. The Rays are doing the same thing, and struggles in the bullpens currently. But this tells me, per Mikey M's stat too, that we're looking at an under, we're looking at a low scoring game, we're looking at the Rays squeezing by. So how do you get involved with it? The sharper look to me would be on the under. Maybe with the Rays struggles a little bit, they go in there, they get out of town with a low scoring W here, but I don't want to lay that kind of 3-1 with the Rays. Nowhere in the world. Even with the run line, there's not enough value there. Also, the way they're playing, because who knows? Maybe the A's stick out a one, sneak out one, and that stat becomes 30-1 now. But I would lean towards the under here if anything, but I won't be involved in this spot.
I am going to be involved in the first 5 under 4.5. I think we have every indication that Medina is going to have a decent start, and we know that Glasnow is more than capable of being lights out, sleepy
That's
atmosphere.
probably the better look long term. Short term, should I say? Long term for value, short term for the game.
Yeah, I like it. I'm going to move on the Oakland Tampa first 5 under 4.5. Ragoo, you're staying off the spot?
I'll be off.
Move on to the next spot on the board, 9:40 p.m. Eastern. Cleveland Guardians 31-35, 15-18 on the road. At the San Diego Padres 32-34, 16-18 at home. We're at Petco Park in San Diego, California. Move over to the weather first here in San Diego. We have move over here. Where the hell is San Diego? Here we go. 64 Fahrenheit, 7.8 miles per hour left to right. Dies down to 6.5, and it's in by the end. Left to right in. Let's see what they feel about Petco. Minus 4% home runs, minus 7% runs. Let's go over to the line history here. Where would these Padres be without Michael Wacha? He's been good for them this year. Here we go. We have this opening up at 8. This is wild. So this opened up at 8 at 6:17 yesterday. By 3:30 in the morning, it was at 7.5. By 5:50, it back to 8. And then by 8:30, it was up at 8.5, which is where it is right now. So we have early movement to the under and legit, and then huge movement to the over.
Wow.
That is very, very tricky here. Very tricky. Okay, so let's take a look at the money line. Then we've done the total. Let's take a look at the money line and Michael Wacha. That Kirby Wacha start, but that I was really angry by the end of the night last night because I let the market completely stop me from what we knew was the right situation, and that was Cabrera with the blister. That game soars over, even though that market was moving heavy to the under. Kirby bounces back, which is what everybody in the chat expected. I got to trust it more at times when we're dealing with a blister. That may be something that the models aren't going to be able to use. That some dude's got a blister. Here we go with Wacha. Wacha opening up at minus 132, now minus 151. So 19 cents of movement to the Padres. So a big move to the Padres. And I told you about the wild market movement on the total. So let's take a look at the cash flow then for this one. We have 75% of the tickets and 91% of the cash on the Padres, 75 and 91, and a big move towards them. From a total perspective here, we have 50-50, but 77% of cash on the under. It's very strange watching all of this move on the total. And Troy says, based on his reference, the market should have put you on the Mariners yesterday. Aaron Savali going up against Michael Wacha here. Savali 2-1, 2.31 ERA, 1.07 whip, 15 Ks in 23 and a third. We know he's not a strikeout guy, but he's just allowed the one jack. He doesn't get barreled too often, but he did not look great in that last start. 5 2/3, 2 earned runs, 3 Ks, 2 walks, and a 10-3 win at home versus the Red Sox. On the road, he is yet to allow a run over 12 innings. Michael Wacha coming off that spectacular start, 10-3 win at home over the Mariners, 6 innings, no runs allowed, 7 Ks, 1 walk. He's been very good at home, 2.93 ERA, 205 opponents batting average. Neither team's hitting since May 1st. Guardians 250, 679 versus righties. Padres 217, 667. And both bullpens have been very, very good. Take it away here for us, Guardians, Padres.
You got two teams here. You got one team. They're basically like on the Cleveland side. They're a negative run differential squad. Subpar 500. Same thing with the Pods, but when they play winning teams, they still have a losing record. So neither team in that category here. Both teams are sub 500 teams. Very similar teams to me as far as offensively, pitching wise, the way they sit in the standard. But, I mean, the one thing that the Padres can do, they can score a few more runs than Cleveland can at times, and they seem like they're starting to turn the corner a little bit, getting their act together more consistently than Cleveland is. And Wacha, like you said, where would they be without him in this spot? You know what I mean? As far as the side goes, I would definitely lean with the Padres here without question. Is it a buy on spot at 155? Little more richer than what I would like to spend as far as to get behind him. But I want to get involved with Walker because I like what he's doing. But I haven't figured that part of it out yet. I looked at this game up and down, and I was just trying to figure. Maybe I was looking at Cervalli, like you said, he come back off injury last game out. He had a pretty solid outing. So is he there yet? We don't know 100% on him yet, but still, he's got decent numbers. 2-1 with a 2.31 ERA. So I'd like to see him throw a little bit more. Just to kind of see how if he's kind of healed up all the way back. So I would lean Padres here, but I don't have a look on the game as far as whether it's an under, over, side, total. Just nothing in my pocket with either one of these teams right now. So, but I lean Padres, but I don't know how to play it.
It's expensive. There's no getting around that.
Yeah.
And it'd be fair to say it's too expensive, but I think the market's telling us that the Padres are going to take care of business, and I do not think Savali's as good as his numbers indicate.
Yeah,
and I'm going to move on the Padres on the -1 line full game.
On the one line, I was going to say maybe the first 5 half a run, something like that, or -1 full game.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with just the -1 full game, even though both bullpens are very strong. I just think that this Padres lineup, even though it has not been succeeding, is tougher to get through.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
I'll be off it, though.
Okay. Kelly McKinnon says Giants already 2 on, nobody out. Wow. When Nutflush talks about the Giants, it's best to listen. Kelly McKinnon is also on San Diego -1.5 as well. All right, let's talk about the final game on the board. Clayton Kershaw's numbers at home are unbelievable. But how do you bet him when he's such a big favorite? It's tricky. It's very tricky.
It's been that way his whole career.
Yeah, but the last couple of years he's been fadeable.
Yeah,
a lot of people have made a ton of money fading him, especially when he plays the Giants. 1-0 Giants for TJ. 3 more to go for him to cash. Nice job. So here is his numbers at home: 31 innings, 4-1, 1.45 ERA, 43 strikeouts, and 2 walks. 3 home runs allowed, 180 opponent's batting average. Look, that is very, very good. But I tried to figure out how to bet him, and I couldn't figure it out because I think Clevenger is more than capable of having an okay start, but he's been bad on the road. 5.45 ERA, 254 opponent's batting average. He's been very good at home. So this was a spot where I just couldn't quite figure out how to get there. Let's discuss the spot. First off, Dodger Stadium is +7% in home runs, -1% in runs. Chavez Ravine, 65 Fahrenheit, 10 miles out to right field, dice down to 7.9 miles per hour. So, Troy, sorry, saying my question on Pinnacle, are they really actively trying to beat the market? Their prices are always better on either side. Yeah, it's 6-cent lines, right? 6 cents on either side. They've always been known for that. They won't give you one bonus. They won't give you a single bonus, but they're good. They're just a great book. And they're actively trying to beat us. And, but let's keep rolling here. White Sox, Dodgers. Let's go into the line history for this spot. We have the total opening up at 8.5, slightly juiced to the under. It moved to 8 at 9:49 this morning, where it stays right now, -115 to the over. So we have a half run move to the under. Let's go over to the cash flow here. We have the Dodgers opening up at Pinnacle -251. They're now -264. 13-cent move. There had been a 24-cent move. There was an 11-cent move back to the White Sox at 11:39 a.m. So we have a 13-cent move to the Dodgers and a half-run move to the under. Our final game on today's slate. Let's take a look at the 31% of the ticket, 71% cash on the under. 31 and 71 on the under. From a money line perspective, 93% of tickets, 86% of cash on the Dodgers. So it's expensive and it's tricky but the White Sox bullpen now has Liam Hendricks back on the IL. The Dodgers bullpen has not been very good. I wonder if this is a spot where we focus on the first 5 under, but Clevenger's numbers have been so bad on the road, even though he's coming off a good start at the Yankees. So then what can you take the Dodgers on the -1 line? And I thought that you could not on the first 5 -1 line, that it was too expensive doing that. Just go back to that right now here on that. We have to go back to this spot. So I can bet the under 8.5 at -120. I mean, that's staring me in the face, but the first 5, but I don't know if I trust Clevenger enough. The first 5 on the Dodgers, you would have to bet on the -1.5 line to get -105. I mean, I broke it all down. I was like, look,
it's crazy. It's nuts.
Yeah, I couldn't.
The question mark would have to be like Clevenger. Like if the Dodgers, we know they smash the lefties pretty well. They're okay with the righties in the middle, at spots. But if Clevenger has a halfway decent outing and they get to Hendricks later, and there's not a lot of damage done at that point, then you have a half a shot at catching the under, possibly. But how do you bet the Dodgers in this spot? Against the weak White Sox bats. You know what I mean? So it's maybe a team total under for the White Sox, possibly. Just bank on Kershaw mowing them down. Just you can look at it that way, possibly.
But the White Sox have been hitting lefties all of a sudden. Yeah. They're back hitting them again. So since May 1st, 275, 756 OPS. Yeah. Jake Prince says Dodgers first 5 -1.5 easy money yesterday. I'm off of it, unfortunately. Top Crocodile looking at Kershaw's Ks. Thank you, Kelly McInnes. Loved having you here. So no movement, no bet for me. Anything for you here?
Yeah, no, I'm off of this one. I'm off.
All right. Well, let's just go into the live in-game here. The live in-game, we're at the bottom of the first in Milwaukee, Minnesota. And we have 2 out, nobody on. The live total is down to 7.5. So that looks very good for us so far, but ways to go. All right, let's review all action. Mike M says, just like the ponies, key the Dodgers in and add them in a parlay to any other plays you have. Joe Yurkovich moved on the Padres first 5 -1/2. I like that, and maybe that is a better look than my full game, but I'm going to stick with it. So let's review all action. Ragoo got his card started with the Braves first 3 -1/2. They're going to have to – oh, no, we have a walk. Ray walked. Don't like seeing that. It's a 1-0 Detroit in the top of the second right now in that spot. Then Tigers first 3 game 2. I'm interested in Lorenzen, but I would like to see what happens in this one. Then Ragoo's on the first 5 under 4.5 at -101 in Milwaukee, Minnesota, and he got me on it too, and I feel hopeful. I've had so many first 5 unders that 0-0 going to the fourth and have lost them. I would like to start betting the first 3 under as well on a lot of these spots, but I was nervous on that one. Spreadsheet play of the days, the New York Yankees -108. Ragoo's on the Yankees first 5 -109. TJ says 2-0 Giants still loaded, no one out. Wow. And you heard what Nutflush said about it.
Loved it.
Ragoo's on the Jays team total over 4.5 +101. I'm moving on the Jays first 5. Spending penny bombs is on Bo Bichette over 1.5 total bases, 2+ hits, RBI, homer, Springer, same deal, over 1.5 total bases. Oh no, just that. And Vladdy RBI for our Spenny penny bombs. Jose got a bad number on the under Colorado Boston. He got 9.5, but he likes the spot and he's wondering, should he go back at 10.5? We'll find out on Say Hey Plays of the Day. Angels, Rangers, we stayed off. Dan Kelly has his U.S. Open action here. I'm going to copy and paste it and drop in the chat for you guys. I did copy and paste it, so yeah, I'm going to drop it in the chat. There you go. That's our guy, Dan Kelly's U.S. Open action. Ragoo's on Sawinski, home run at +550 and a hit at -130. Ragoo's on the Reds -1.5 at +140. And I think I'm going to move on the Royals first 3. I think I've sat with Ben Lively and stared at his numbers for long enough. Mike M's ribeye play of the day, Jose Altuve for the ribby +240. This is 6-1 +9.65 units. I moved on the Nats first 3 +180 and first 5 +0.5 at +120. Ragoo moved on the first 5 under 4 at +101. Ragoo's on the Marlins first 5 +0.5 at +102. I moved on the first 3 under 1.5 at +125 and the first 5 under 3.5 at -110 in the matchup of the best Dominican pitcher in the league in Castillo and the next best Dominican pitcher in the league, Yuri Perez. Ragoo's on the under 8.5 in Philly, Arizona. I'm going to move on the first 5 under. Ragoo. Oh, I'm going to move on to Oakland, Tampa Bay, first 5 under 4.5. Padres -1. And that is our show for today. Ragoo, it is an absolute pleasure and honor rocking with you. We're so lucky we have you for baseball because NFL right around the corner, and for you, college football, which you are so good
blink of
at.
an eye, man. The season keeps marching forward, brother. We'll be hitting the All-Star break pretty soon. So
Yes, we are a little break. But for now, we get to focus all our attention on MLB, and we should reap the rewards of that. Please follow our guy, Big Ragoo, on Twitter at Big Ragoo62. Doc, any last words for the Cappers Sport to show?
You know the love I got for our chat and our folks behind the scenes at home and abroad. So keep cashing those tickets, guys, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Oh, I love it. There he is, the Big Ragoo. We got big shows popping off here for the rest of the day. Balking Dead pops off at 3:10 p.m. Eastern. Then we have Say Hey plays of the day at 5 p.m. Eastern. So a lot of action here at Pub Sports Radio, hammering MLB. Brian Watson says, where is Matty Ice? I'll reach out to him. Yeah, we miss him. We know he got his Twitter taken down. But I'll reach out to him because we do miss him here dearly. We have no show without you guys. Thank you so much. Brian Watson, TJ, Mike M, Atlanta, Wake and Bake, Brian Watson, Kelly McInnes, Joe Yurkovich, Jake Burns, Rocco Rogers, Top Crocodile, Creekman, my guy Creekman 581, Troy Torrance, LJ, Lee Lewis. I love it. Rick J. Thank you guys so much. Akbar Saloev. Ron Walsek, Curtis Berry, DC Capper, Beefy Betts. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Jay Stone, DX Filer, Phillies Backwoods. Thank you guys. Now, let's go out there and get that money. There's Fernando Mendoza. There he is. I saw it. I was trying to remember who it was. It was Fernando Mendoza, bullish on the A's yesterday. Nice work. It must have been a fun watch for you. All right, you guys. Now let's go out there. Thank you to my producer, Jose Bouquet, who does such a great job. Be sure to check out his big show at 5 p.m. today. But for now, we go out there. We get that money. Leche, a Los bookmaker.